welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, just the tip, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about.
Just the tip.
I'm Mr. Jason Roscoe, with me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Oh, just a tip. I get it. Because of the
headphone, audio, yes.
The headphone jack.
Yeah, because as we were prepping for the show, we're still dealing with our audio issues, which is ever present for this fucking show, apparently. Like, we will never escape audio issues for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah, it's
a curse.
Just a tip.
Yeah, so yeah, we figured out Dave's audio problem, or at least a temporary fix, and that's just barely stick the tip of the fucking audio jack into the mixer.
Well, it's about halfway.
Okay.
It made it about halfway.
All right.
So it's a well worn, I guess.
Is that what you call that?
I don't know. Let's go with that.
Sure.
Not to embarrass anyone, I guess.
Oh, definitely not. My mom does watch the show. So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the music of 1997.
97.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
This page isn't bad.
Oh my God.
What's this one? Oh, that's that. Oh, that's nice.
This is, again, giving Dave access to the soundboard, and this. Oh my God. Should never have given him access.
Facts.
Anyway, so yes, music of 1997. We're plowing through the 90s. We're getting close to the end. 94.
There we go.
97.
Now I'm on the right one.
And 97 was a very interesting year music-wise. Very odd, but also very poignant for you and I personally, because we had a lot of important things going on in our lives in 1997 that we'll get into.
Yeah.
As we start.
Yeah, we will.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, that was weird. Should we start getting into some business? Maybe say Patreon?
You should get into Patreon.
All right, you could have done that before the show. You didn't have
to. I was trying, but I was too busy getting it halfway in.
Right, okay, fair enough. All right, well, we'd love to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Carly Vickers, Catherine Rennick, Dragon Buddy, David Schmuck, Frederick Martin, Shotgun Mark, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Wally Frogmore, Janine Vickers, my wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein, Nick from Sweet Studios, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Frank Kalevich, Kristen Roscom, Don Solsky, Lord Helmet Fire, Ivo G, The Orange and Fett Show, Steve Long, Tina Land, and our newest patron, Sterling Azier. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Wow. Choked you up there, huh?
And over to you for some Sidebar headlines.
In Cantina headlines, because she changed it, she put just Cantina headlines.
Okay.
There should be change bars. Remember change bars in regs? Like when or in checklist, how you have a change bar next to something that changed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there should be a change bar so that I know when something changed.
This was changed because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Or this reg has been changed and should be read in its entirety.
Sure.
Which is probably what every one of these is.
Right.
Cantina happenings. Week 2 props going out to the losers, a.k.a. Scott of Used and Abuse. That seems rude.
Why is he a loser?
I don't know. That's what it says. I'm just reading what it says.
Oh.
Just reading what the teleprompter says.
She probably beat him in fantasy, that's why.
Probably.
Yeah.
This is how she's getting her digs in it.
Yeah, her jabs, because she's got free reign, you know.
Right.
She's the master of the keyboard.
I will read anything that's on the teleprompter. Scott is now in first place in our Sidebar Cantina Fantasy Football League.
Get the fuck out.
At the moment.
Yeah. Well, it ain't me, that's for sure.
Yeah. I was at the top of our division until I'm getting beat right now by Orange Jacket guy.
Yeah.
So
it's all right. He kicked the shit out of me last week.
Yeah,
so.
he's turned it up.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Return of the Swede for having the highest points total for that week. That was back in week 2.
Yeah.
Bringing home 160.64 points and the W. The W.
Gotcha.
If you are into football, these aren't the droids you're looking for. You can go about your business. Move along. And I'm not going to read that part because that part's for later in the show.
Yeah.
So, done.
All right. So that's it.
Done.
Okay.
You know why we're going early today?
Well, We got Monday Night Football on NBC.
I guess it's on ABC. I don't even know.
On ABC.
This 2 football Monday thing is fucking annoying.
So now I know in previous seasons they've done it week 1. For the last few years,
do it
they've
once.
had right.
Don't do it every fucking time.
Well, allegedly, what Kristen is trying to tell me is one of the reasons why they're doing this is because due to the writers and actor strikes, some of the networks are running a little short on primetime content.
Well, that's over now. Well, it's. I mean, they got a deal for at least the writers.
Right. I saw the writers were working on a tentative deal, but I haven't heard shit about the actors.
Well, I thought the actors were like. They stepped out because in solidarity with the writers. So it's
not 100% because they were still working before the actor strike. They may like say it for PR. It was we're gonna stand with the writers. Fuck that. They're out for themselves. They've got a whole other negotiation process that they're going through with the studios. So
hang on a tick.
What problem?
Did I miss that?
Miss what? Our newest patron is Helen Martin. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was not in my reads. So, again, I only read what's on the teleprompter, Kristen. So, yes, Helen Martin, our newest patron.
Is that my Helen Martin? Like my cousin Helen Martin?
Well,
or is that a different Helen Martin? There's a lot of Martins.
Yeah.
There are. Rick will tell you. There's a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's a very common name. So very cool though. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. Writers actor strike means more primetime football, I guess.
On ABC.
On ABC.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you okay?
No.
What is wrong with you?
Dude. Well, I'll save it for my week.
All right.
I'll save it for my week.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, I don't have anything else before we get into our week, so should we just transition on over? Are you okay? This is not going to sound good on the audio episode.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my god.
I
don't know what's wrong with this guy today.
It's just the worst.
It's always something. So, I actually do not have anything to add to the Sacred Black series this week.
Sacred Jedi Pops. The Sacred Jedi.
Yes.
There was a sign. There was a sign right there that had the fucking
Is it
button.
that piece of paper right next to the tape?
No.
I don't know.
Let's look here. No, I made a sign.
Oh. I wonder if it fell off, I might have vacuumed it up. Anyway.
The Sacred Jedi.
Yeah, so I have no additions this week. I actually have new Black Series figures, but I'm saving them for next week because next week is a Star Wars episode. The big thing for me...
Wow!
What the fuck?
It's my sign!
Why did she have it?
I don't know.
Oh, so for those of you watching, Kristen just came into the studio and handed Dave his fucking sign that was on the mixer that he had, to label what button was what.
Right.
Why the fuck did she have it?
I don't know.
I don't understand what's going on.
Maybe that's why the microphones went all wonky.
Right, because she took the sign?
37 microphones, 37 dicks.
In a row?
Should never have given him the
I feel better
mixer.
now.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have any Black Series to show off this week, but we can talk about some football since we were just talking about it. Niners 3-0, baby. Woo!
I'm not excited.
Yeah, I know you're not.
They beat the team that they were supposed to beat. I mean,
Still.
they look good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they do. They look good.
Though-
McCaffrey looks like he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And where the fuck did the Dolphins come from? Did you see that score yesterday?
Or is it that the Dolphins? Well, first of all, it was like a college score.
Yeah,
Like that-
exactly.
The Broncos should be embarrassed beyond like recognition. Like that's pride. That's you show up on a football field after that, and it's like, what are you what is your values at that point?
Yeah.
I was part of a game where they fucking put up 70. Like if you're on that defense, like I don't know how you recover from that. I don't know how if you're Sean Payton, how if you're a coach of a fucking football team, how you're a coach of anything, you take an ass whooping like that, and you come back to the team and go like, well, we're gonna have to just put that one behind us and blah blah. No. There's no putting that behind you. You have to put that right in front of everyone and be like, rub their nose in it like a bunch of fucking dogs. Like this, you can't be this bad. You just cannot be this bad at football.
Yeah, we have not seen a score like that in the NFL in the modern days in a long time.
What did it say? Like since the 60s.
Yeah.
It's been like, and it honestly, it's uncalled for. And it's not like they were running up the score on purpose. They were just handing the ball off, and they were running down their fucking throats. They couldn't tackle anybody. It was ridiculous. And then they were like coughing up the ball constantly. What the fuck, guys? Like, you're being paid to play football. Like, everyone in the Broncos organization should just be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Just be embarrassed.
Yeah, it's insane, but I'm happy with the Niners so far.
The rapey Dolphins. And I think I posted in the our fantasy football chat one of the Ghetto Gronk I follow on Instagram. He posted a lot of really good memes. And he had posted one where it was a dolphin like kind of sliding up on the dock and starts fucking a dude. Like it just dude, it's I'm like, oh my god.
And that's very fitting. That makes a lot of sense.
And that's what happened to the Broncos.
So anyway, besides football, I'm still absolutely loving my fucking Steam Deck. Like I know I've mentioned this every week for a while now, but fuck it. I love my Steam Deck. This thing is incredible.
Fuck it.
Over the weekend, I love my daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly.
But
Gary here loves his Steam Deck.
So I started, or I was continuing to work on getting some of the emulators set up. I now have a PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 emulator working on the Steam Deck. I was playing the first Tony Hawk game on the PlayStation emulator, which we might hear about that game a little bit later on in the episode. And what was I playing on PS2? Fuck. What did I get for the PS2? Oh, God of War, the first God of War.
Okay.
Yeah. And
dude, I'll tell you, it's funny you mentioned that. Like for PS1, there was a game called Rallycross.
Oh, I remember that game.
I played the shit out of that game in the alert facility.
Oh,
back when we first moved over to 3390, we had just actually even when we were in the old building.
Oh yeah.
I had the PS1 set up and just played the absolute shit out of Rallycross. And I was watching a video, and it was a bunch of Rallycross videos, like, basically cars wiping out or zipping past people. And I'm like, man, I missed that game. That'd be a racing game that I think would be fun to play. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure there's like a Rallycross racing game out there right now.
Yeah, like a modern one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one with the modern graphics and everything. But that game was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And and I've gotten those set up, and I'm still playing. I'm mostly playing Madden in my free time. Madden 2005 on the GameCube emulator. Just because I love that fucking game so much. It's football season. I love just, plowing through games in my franchise.
Plowing
yeah.
like a dolphin through Broncos.
Yes, exactly.
That's like the new standard now for fucking getting beat. I'm gonna beat you like a dolphin beats the Bronco.
And so one problem that I've run into, though, now that I've been like throwing all these emulators and all these ROMs on the Steam Deck, is I'm running out of space again. So it comes with 512 megabytes or gigabytes of internal storage, and you can do a micro SD card. And I bought a 512 micro SD card. I'm like, this will be plenty of space. After downloading all this shit,
is why you fail.
Exactly, yes. So I'm realizing, fuck, I'm already out of space, and I want to put more shit on here before it's all said and done.
Dude, what? Just get a fucking couple terabytes. And
so that's the thing. Like, I'm thinking, like, there can't be more than fucking 512 gigs on one of these micro SD cards. No, there's a 1 terabyte fucking micro SD card.
Yeah.
Which blows my fucking mind. It makes me sound like a boomer here, but to think that A terabyte of information fits on something that's the size of your fucking fingernail.
Yeah. It's
A
crazy.
terabyte.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Dude,
exist.
I feel
And
ya.
it's not that expensive. They're like $100. I'm like, how? How do they make it so small? So small.
It's just me.
My penis is so smooth.
I'm gonna celebrate when I actually hit the right button.
Oh, but yeah, that blows my fucking mind that you can have that much data. It's like that. So small.
My penis is so smooth.
Exactly. So I don't know, but I'm gonna have to get one now.
Yeah. Duh.
Because I want to put more shit on here.
Can you like hot swap out the SD cards, or do you have to like eject it just like on a normal computer?
That is a good question, and I do not know the answer.
You be carrying around like a little
Yeah,
like
a
you did
little-
with your old Game Boy. You'd have like a let me crack this open and put
Yeah.
another game in.
That's actually a very good point. I bet that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll probably end up doing then is I'll do just emulator stuff on my current SD card, and then the other cards will be like full games, like the big games.
Right.
The game I've been
Like
playing.
Survivors and God of War.
Yeah. The thing that I'm playing the most of that's not Madden right now is the 2017 Doom, 2017 or 2019, whatever the recent reboot of Doom is. Those fucking games are so fun.
Yeah.
And it runs so goddamn smooth on the Steam Deck. It's unbelievable.
That's impressive. It
Unbelievable.
Really is. I'm surprised it's not in here with you, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was like busy getting other shit ready today, so. Plus you got here early and
I did, yeah, because there's a game.
yeah. On NBC. But that's really it for my week. Just a lot of Steam Deck shenanigans, and I'll have plenty of Black Series next week when we talk about Ahsoka.
Yeah, man, lots
So.
to talk about with Ahsoka next week.
Indeed.
Next week,
See.
3PO. So what I've been doing, every single week I sit here and go, what the fuck did I do during the week? I mean, honestly, like it's utterly remarkable. Stay. How I cannot remember, and it's like one of the things was I decided it may not be a good idea to write down every single thing that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like so I decided in an exercise of like, all right, maybe I like to help with my stress level. Maybe I should write down all the things outside of work that I need to do so I can start eliminating some of these things.
Sure.
Yeah, it's 2 pages worth of shit. And that just made it worse. it legitimately made it worse. I mean, I was able to, get a couple of things off of this list, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I
That
feel
was
that way a lot. Like
Not good.
if I'm so busy and I have so much to do, I just kind of shut down and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming. And I have the sword of Damocles of fucking the next semester of school coming.
Fuck,
And
that's right. I keep forgetting about that.
It's a train that's going to hit me square in the fucking nutsack. And anxiety level is like through the fucking roof. So, yeah, that's been fucking amazing for my health and everything else. This weather has just been fucking terrible with just joints and everything.
Yeah, because it's that early pre-fall.
Yeah.
It's kind of chilly, but mostly wet.
Stupid tropical storm coming through and just not even like all right, it's gonna sound bad. But I want to, if I'm at home and I'm at home for like bad weather, like we were prepped for it, right? I got new like floody things for the Florida room to make sure, like, all right, if anything like comes up through the ground or whatever, everything, I was super prepared. Had vacuum, the shop vac pre-staged and all that shit, right?
Nice.
So I was ready to fucking go. And you would think that with this fucking tropical storm coming, 2 to 4 inches of rain, high winds, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, ready. I want to sit here. I'm going to fucking watch the show.
Yeah.
And it rained. It was fucking miserable. But that was it. It was just fucking miserable. I mean, and a lot of places got hit real hard. And around the city from where we are here, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But the I just thought of something. I gotta talk about it. Let me write that down before I forget.
No, that's good. I appreciate that you're doing that because
Yeah.
otherwise it's going to be 10 minutes of you going, what was I going to say?
Yeah,
What was I
exactly.
going to say?
Oh my god, dude, my fucking brain is so fucked. But yeah, it's fucking. I wanted a big storm. I was prepared.
Yeah.
I wanted to come through and fucking be fire and brimstone and fucking lightning and trees uprooting and like just come in and just beat the shit out of everything. But and thankfully it wasn't that bad and
No.
you know, people hopefully didn't lose their homes and shit like that. But because who wants that? But I just wanted a good storm.
Yeah.
Ophelia.
Oh, I'm more looking at Hurricane Corky.
Yeah, there's another hurricane that's coming through. Like that's spinning up right now.
Oh yeah.
Hurricane Penis or Penelope or something.
Coming in this direction?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's
We'll see how it goes.
yeah. Well, I I have my golf trip in a couple weeks, so it's like it'll be
right.
just in time for that.
Yeah, that's good. Rain never stopped a golf game.
Yeah, it did.
Oh.
Yeah, it absolutely will.
Oh, sorry,
'Cause
my
it can be
mistake.
fucking miserable. So yeah, we're getting ready for the storm, and doing that shit. I've been 3D printing a lot.
Yeah.
I posted in a restoration station channel on our Discord.
Yep.
I haven't gotten outside to work on the Tonka trucks at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I need a good plan of attack for that.
Right.
And I'm not happy with the one I have right now, so I'm going to do some more. I'm doing more research before I attack that because I want it to come out like perfect, and I want to make sure I have all the things I need to do that.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I was doing a bunch of other shit, like I'm modifying this cart that has a butcher block table top thing, just a small cart that I have my 3D printer on.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little old MacBook next to it to run
For the schematics
software
and all that, yeah.
And it's attached to the Cricut because I'm doing some stuff for Lodge with the Cricut. So, and that's underneath. So it's like a whole printing station that I
Wow.
can roll around,
And this is all in your garage?
No, this is it's in my office area.
Oh, okay.
But I can roll it out of the way and like kind of put it off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, and it's kind of independent now because it has the computer on it.
Right.
So it really just needs power. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And while I've been printing, I was like, well, I'm going to print something that's fairly useful. And I printed some stuff for you.
What? Oh my god, this is the best. They're stands for the Black Series figures. Why, thank you.
Yeah.
And
What's funny is
that might be a good enough size for Palpatine.
there's Vickers had brought up a good point, which, by the way, he's printing these fucking adult.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. He's printing out these adult Nerf guns. Oh my god! They're so fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta swing by his place.
Look at that. That was perfect because remember how I told you that his hole was a little bit small?
Yeah,
This one was just the right size.
there you go.
And one more time for the YouTube audience, go fuck yourself.
So yeah, so I went and was going to try and print 6 at a time. Yeah, it was an epic fail. Like I tried that. We went out to the grocery store, came back, and it was just like this giant melted pile of
Oh shit.
oh yeah, it was so bad. I was like, all right, that's obviously I'm just going to do one at a time.
Is there a method for reusing like the
No.
the material? Like if something fucks up, there's no way to like melt it down and reuse it?
No, because it's on a big spool. Like you'd
Oh.
have to. I guess if you were going to recycle it, you'd have to be able to extrude it, and back into basically like a spaghetti noodle, and then reuse it that way. And honestly, I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, but because it's something that's activated with heat. Once you put heat to it, and when it reforms, it's probably not the same strength as it was when
Yeah.
it hardens. Like because
I'm sure there's some science behind it.
yeah.
Science.
Science.
But no, that's great.
Because science.
And these will get some use.
Yeah.
And if
so
you ever get the desire to print more.
I'm probably gonna print some more. I think that something like that is easy enough with the printer that I have that it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, anything that's more complicated than this gets kind of mucked up, because my printers don't have the same accuracy as the ones that Vickers has.
Mm-hmm.
But they're yeah, Vickers. Yes, you heard science. I'm talking about you and printing, printing your adult Nerf guns. It's pretty much. God, I can't wait. I can't wait to go over there and see them.
Are they like the shape where if you pulled one on a cop, you'd probably get shot?
No, but they're like, at least 150 feet per second velocity.
God damn.
Yeah, they're like you're talking serious, like actual firepower. Like I'm
my
shooting
God.
a Nerf dart at you that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Not for the weak. And,
Clearly not.
Yeah, and he has the printers to be able to print something like that. I couldn't do that with the printer that I have. It just doesn't have that ability. Not especially not with the PLA material that I'm using. But it's perfect for something like this. That's going to basically be there to be a post to hold up some figures.
Fucking right.
So yeah, so I'm going to keep mass producing those until I find a better STL for that, or figure out how to modify it.
Stonebleeds had a funny idea.
Oh yeah, 300 FPS is what Vickers was saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
300 feet per second.
That's a lot.
And a Nerf dart.
That would hurt.
That would hurt. I'll show you the video afterwards. He sent me a video of him with a practice shot. It's pretty impressive.
Okay.
So you have to print them in crazy visible colors so you don't get shot by the cops.
Right.
They're very colorful, and he's got them customized. Like it says helmet fire right in the stocks and stuff.
You know what would be fucked is if
really cool.
like criminals start making guns that are like the light bright fluorescent colors, but they're real fucking guns.
I don't. Yeah. Are they that smart?
I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
So I kind of got my balls busted. Oh, so I needed to add this. Oh my God. Let me add this to the thing.
All right.
We went and saw Pink.
Oh,
this
you
week.
went to one of her concerts?
Yes.
Yeah, I had some coworkers who went last week.
So I'm indifferent to Pink or whatever, but Kathy's super into her.
Mm-hmm. I like a bunch of her songs.
Yeah, I mean, she's got hits. Like, she's got hits, and she's from the Philly area.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool for, like, a homecoming show for her. She did 2 shows. They were both sold out. Big performance. Like, she did, like, this whole high wire fucking act.
One of my coworkers was showing me a video she took of that.
It's fucking insane. It's like she's like, hey, apparently she was a competitive gymnast.
Yeah.
Like when she was younger, and I guess she wanted to like. It's one of those deals where like, hey, it's my show, and I want to fucking do a Cirque du Soleil thing, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So she's on the fucking wires, flying through the stadium, and doing flips and all this shit. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness. And she got a Phillies jersey on and kind of did a couple songs, and it was fun. It was fun. It was a good night. The funniest thing to come out of that, though, and the only reason I bring it up was so we get there, and Kathy needed to use the bathroom. Now, one thing this is at Citizens Bank Park, right, where the Phillies play, and they had a shit ton of extra, like they had porta pots like within the stadium, right? Because obviously there would be a shortage of places for women to go to the bathroom, and they know that the women to men ratio is going to be way more.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So I'm standing in line with Kathy, and I'm going to go into the men's room, and the women are also using the men's room.
Oh.
Right? So I could have like, cut in line, but I was standing there with Kathy. And so finally it gets to the point where I was like, all right, I guess I'm going in there. So
into the men's room.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the women are there in line. I'm kind of standing in the doorway, kind of looking, and they're like, yeah, the urinals are open. One of the, women say, so I'm like, okay. So I go in there and I walk up to walk up in front of the urinals, and I go like, oh, look at this, right? In front of them. Like they're standing, they're in the men's room, standing there waiting to go into the stalls. And I was standing there like, oh, look at this. and the women, I'm getting heckled. I'm getting heckled. They're like, this is a woman's show. What are you even doing here?
Are you
Like,
serious?
oh, yeah, dude, totally. And I'm like, I'm standing there like, oh, look at me. I'm getting to go to the bathroom. It's, like, and I got women literally closer to me than fucking the Vaders. And
Wow.
it was just so fucking weird. And they're heckling me. And then some other dude, he comes up, right? And he's trying to take a leak. And so they're like, what are you even doing here? And I lean back and I dude, 100%, I 100% did this. And I lean back and go like, well, somebody had to drive.
Oh no.
So the dude that was peeing 2 urinals down laughed, and he like laughed and pulled like this. Like he almost peed all over the fucking wall. Dude, it was fucking great. It had the exact desired effect. So I mean, kept getting heckled. I'd go over, wash my hands, and like bye, like and fucking left.
Wow.
Oh, it was fucking great.
Oh my god.
Like, serves it right for fucking heckling me. I'm like, yep, I'm not drinking anything. I don't need to go into the bathroom again and have that adventure.
Right.
But yeah, it was
Jesus.
I was just too primed. Like I wouldn't have said anything.
Right,
It was
yeah.
all jest. Like honestly, it wasn't like there were just a bunch. There was, I don't know.
Were they a bunch of drunk bitches?
Oh yeah, there was fucking 70,000 drunk broads in
Yeah.
this fucking place, and they're all standing in line to take a piss, and here comes this dude. It's like, oh hey, look, there's all these urinals right here for me
Yeah.
to use. And, yeah, it was not.
Oh god,
It was fucking great.
I don't know if I could do it.
It was not the easiest thing in the world. It really wasn't. There was definitely like a minute of Mike Glover stage fright there, where I was just like, all right, sidebar. So there was a loadmaster we used to fly with,
Yeah.
and Jason and I, in our former lives, we would get fucking urinalysis all the time.
Yeah, the military piss tests people
Yeah.
constantly.
It's randomly everybody all the time.
Yeah, random. Yeah.
So, and then one of our guys that we flew with, he had severe stage fright
yeah.
when it came to doing that, because you had to do it in front of somebody.
Yeah, because somebody, like the rules specifically said they have to watch you. They
Right.
have to look at your dick and
Right.
watch the piss
They're
come
like-
out of it
They're like watching like
into the cup. Yeah,
like
they're supposed to like be
Yes.
looking at your dick as
Right.
you're pissing.
like getting all in there. Like, how's it coming out? Yeah, it's and he would get such bad stage fright. Yeah, like he'd be there all day, like just sitting there drinking water, like just
Just because he couldn't pee,
because you're gonna go.
because there was somebody there watching him.
And I was thinking about that as I was having this moment of stage fright, because usually it doesn't happen to me. But yeah, when you're being heckled by like a dozen women, you're like, oh, man, this is fucking weird. And I think I felt better because another dude came in,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, that's not too bad. And I cracked a joke, and I was able to go. Jesus Christ, man, fucking weird, man. It was fucking weird. It was crazy.
That's good. I like
Yeah,
that.
so NASA shit. What did I put in here? I put in here NASA shit as a primer to talk about the fucking asteroid thing. Did you catch any of that?
So apparently they're going to bring back an asteroid sample?
No, so that already happened. So I'll give you the quick and dirty,
Sure.
since you're not paying attention. We launched a rocket about 7 years ago. all
Okay.
right? The rocket went out to this near Earth object called the the Bennu asteroid.
Mhm.
Bennu. Bennu, right?
Bennu.
So send a rocket out. It goes, collects a sample. It was like, at the time, I think it was like 300 million miles away.
Sure.
So it goes out, collects a sample, then it has to come back over it's like 1.3 billion miles to get back to the Earth. So after 7 years, it ejects out like basically the sample container, which it looks like a dreidel. Like, almost. So, like, it reminded me like when it did land and was sitting in the desert, it just looked like a dreidel or a top just sitting,
Right.
like an Inception top just sitting in
Oh,
the middle
yeah.
of the desert, charred. So yeah, it fucking on Sunday, I picked up the broadcast, the NASA broadcast, which, oh my god, these. I get it, NASA. You're trying really hard to fucking like be very accommodating, I guess, to all audiences. Like, and be chipper and make science like and fun and not quite so dry.
Sure.
But in an effort to do that, the people that do understand what's going on, it makes you want to fucking gouge your face apart to listen to them talk. But I was really, and I know there's other YouTubers that fucking they live stream this and they talk about it and stuff like that. And I'll do that with some launches, but with this one I didn't know where to go, and quite frankly, some of those people are idiots too. Yeah, the world according to Dave, right?
Right. Everybody's an idiot.
Everybody's a fucking idiot. God, I'm such a mess. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. But that's how it is. So anyway, they launched the thing. It came through the Earth's atmosphere and landed in the Utah desert. And they fucking came with a helicopter, picked it up, took it to a hangar, took it out of its little shell thing, and then they're gonna put it in a container. And they made a clean room there in the proving grounds there in Utah, and then they're gonna ship it to Johnson Space Center, where they're gonna crack it open, and it's supposed to be like a baseball and a half, so a mass like about this big of a fucking asteroid.
They just kind of scoop it out, and
yeah, there was like this impact so it was able to get into the surface.
Sure,
but it's going to be, it's not, it's not of this Earth. It's closer to what was there at the creation of the solar system.
Yeah.
So you're basically, when you're analyzing this, you're analyzing a time machine, basically.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to look so far back, even more so than the moon or any place else. So really, really cool shit. And then that spacecraft that fucking ejected the thing to come back to Earth, that's going on another mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they sent it back out on orbit, and I believe I may be misspeaking, but I'm pretty sure it's going out to the asteroid belt.
Oh,
and
okay.
Doing a similar mission to something in the asteroid belt itself. Somebody correct me in the chat. But yeah, so Helmet Fire's talking about how it almost got stuck in the asteroid. Very, very cool shit. And it's nerd shit, I know. And Kathy was giving me crap about it because I'm like, I had an earbud in, I'm kind of watching it on the phone, and I'm giving commentary on the commentators and how they're fucking way too fucking plucky and like, oh, look at how interesting this is. Science. Wee, science. Smiles. Some broad talking about, oh, I'm going to talk to this person. That person standing there going like, I got a job to do. Can I just go over here and do my job? Oh, God. All right. Yes, I'm going to take a helicopter over there and pick up the sample and bring it back over here. Good? You good? Is everyone good now? Can I go do my job? Jesus Christ. That would be me. That would be me. Like, oh, here's the operations director for this fucking mission. Go away! Trying to do my fucking job. Back to you, Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the fuck was I going to Penn State? Oh, I'll finish this up with a Dave rant.
Oh, that wasn't a Dave rant?
That was not a Dave rant. No, that was just NASA shit. It was fun.
All right.
So I'm watching the Penn State game.
Yes.
Right. It was a night game. It was the whiteout, which it was against Iowa. It was kind of a lame whiteout. But they packed it out. It was raining. It was a fucking miserable night. But the student section was amazing. Everyone was there. Like, it was a good show for prime time. All that. It was the second largest crowd ever in Beaver Stadium history, so it was over like 107,000.
Okay,
like that.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, basically if you took the entirety of the Air National Guard, you can fit it in that stadium.
Damn,
like every single person in Air National Guard can fit in that stadium.
That's cool.
So they had everything there, and everyone, they had the whiteout thing going, and Penn State proceeded to whip Iowa's ass. Like, legitimately, Iowa going into the fourth quarter had 2 first downs. 2 first downs.
Damn.
For 3 quarters of football. And these 2 old, 70-year-old fucking just dumb motherfucking announcers. All they could do was talk about how Iowa was a better team than this, and like all they could do was talk about Iowa, how good the coach was, how much better Iowa is than this, and like never giving Penn State any credit for, I don't know, being a higher ranked team, being like, I get it, Penn State was supposed to beat that team.
Sure.
But Iowa, has a fucking Michigan transfer as their quarterback, right? Who's supposed to be good.
Oh.
Yeah, McNamara. I enjoyed watching him get the shit beat out of him, right? But if your team, it's one thing where it's like, you're unlucky or, things happen. You still have to play football.
Yeah.
It's just like the Broncos. Like at some point, you still have to fucking play football. You're out there playing the same game in the same conditions as everyone else. You got to get more than 2 first downs. They got 4 in the fourth quarter against our number 2s. They got 2 more first downs. They had 4 total. They never scored.
Holy shit.
And those fucking announcers could not give the fucking team, the Penn State, any fucking credit at all.
Were these announcers anybody worthwhile? Anybody?
No, they were just 2 old fucks. We watched a real game the other day. Blah blah blah. They started off the fucking telecast, which I'm fucking agitated right off the jump. Yeah, it's shocking. I know. I'm fucking agitated from the jump because I can't sync my television to. I'm watching it on the antenna because it's on CBS, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm watching it on the antenna, so there's no delay. The radio broadcast and Sirius XM and everything is all delayed to match up with people who are streaming.
Okay.
So I can't sync up the people who I want to listen to the game because of all the fucking idiots that are streaming.
Right.
So now I have to listen to these fucking announcers, or I just not listen to anything, I guess, but or put up with the delay, which I absolutely cannot do. I just I tried to do it for about half a second, like in the very beginning, where I was I'm fucking around with it for a while, and then after the kickoff, when the kickoff was delayed like 8 seconds, I'm like, I'm going to murder somebody. So nope, the radio's going off. I'm gonna fucking do this. And I know there's websites out there, I think, that you can sync audio to if you're streaming something. Like there's all kinds of places to do it, but you have to be streaming. Like if you're getting it off the antenna, you're fucked.
Right, right.
So I guess it's the price I'm paying for not paying for it.
Right. Oh yeah, because you just canceled your Hulu Live. Recently. Right.
Yeah. So okay. I'm not paying for any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so. I was like, these motherfucking announcers, and I get it. There's bias or whatever, and maybe it's because the booth was too cold for them.
Could be
because you could they're so old. Like, oh, if only I could see because I'm so cold. Oh, it's obvious that the Iowa team is the better team, even though they've only got 2 first downs. Oh my God,
who was
the fucking best ever?
Who was the old announcer that used to announce with Madden? Pat
Summerall.
Yeah, that old fuck. Listening to him for like his last 5 years, you're like, what game are you watching?
I'm watching. I can't. Pat Summerall. I can't do Pat Summerall.
Yeah.
Well, if it's anything like Tom Brokaw, I'm having 5 or 6 scotches before we start the game, so that when I'm watching the game, I know exactly what's going on with everything that we're watching.
I think there's a little Chris Collinsworth in there too.
I'm
Chris Collinsworth.
I despise that even inclination.
Oh, I know you.
If I could do Chris Collinsworth, if I work on that and I could do Chris Collinsworth, I would make him say the most outlandish shit ever. Yeah. Did you hear that in that Ohio State Notre Dame game, like afterwards? Ryan Day, so apparently Lou Holtz, who I didn't realize was even alive. He's the coach of Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was alive until this thing with Ryan Day, the coach of Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Holtz said something about the Ohio State team, and then after Ohio State wins, Day is like making it like he was going to go after and hurt some old man.
Oh my
like,
God.
It was like, why you, what is wrong with you? Like, it was, and then they had one of the guys on the Pat McAfee show was interviewing Lou Holtz, dressed as Lou Holtz, doing a Lou Holtz impression. And Lou Holtz talks like this. He's in they had him in a big comfy chair and he looked like fucking Stephen Hawking. Like his shirt was all on, like this. Oh God, it's awful. It was awful. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah, fuck Ohio State. And fuck the announcers that can't realize that, like, oh wait, this is a team that, I'm not saying Penn State is going to win the national championship or anything, but they beat Iowa soundly.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get more than 4 first downs, and you got your ass beat.
Yeah.
See you later. Like, God, good luck next week. That's how it is. Don't be a wanker because you like the coach better. Mm-hmm. You know, the other old man across the way, like, oh, we join each other at the McDonald's for our senior citizen discounts and get our cheap coffee. No, with the other guy that got 200 wins. I don't know. All right, I'm done.
All right, fair enough. Do you need a break or anything before we get into the main topic?
I hit we hit our 45-minute mark.
All right. Well, let's get into it then. The music of 97.
The sacred Jedi.
Nope.
94.
97.
94.
So one thing that I noticed about the music of 97 going into this, the music of this year is all over the fucking place. Like, there's still some like fucking ska bleed over from the mid 90s when that was trying to be a thing. You had all this new weird alternative music, and then you had the poppy stuff. Like we're going to talk about some of the groups that debuted this year that shape basically pop music for the rest of the 90s and into the early 2000s. It was very eclectic. It's all over the fucking place.
Right.
And I'm really curious to hear the music that you enjoyed as we get going through this, and the stuff that you didn't like. So let's just get into it. And first, we're going to start it off with talking about kind of where we were at this point in 97, because, you know, this was a pretty pivotal year in my life. In fact, one could say this was one of the most important years of my life. This was actually the year that I met Kristen and that we started dating. But, you know, in the grander scheme of things, this was my first year as an adult on his own.
Yeah.
You know, I started the year off at 20 years old, turned 21 towards the end of this year. And yeah, I was already in the Air Force. I was living on the dorms on McGuire Air Force Base. And, you know, I was, you know, on my own. And thinking about it now, my son, who's 20 years old now, thinking about him like on his own in that same situation, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't know if he could handle himself, honestly.
I know, it's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, it was crazy because I was here in New Jersey, and I talked about it a little bit when we did the music in 96. I got here at the end of 96, like late October of 96. And finally in 97, early 97, I got a car. Because when I first got here, I was without a car. I was taking the fucking bus everywhere. But finally got a car. And that, of course, opened the floodgates to listening to music on the go. Because that's where you really listen to a lot of your music these days, is when you're in the car.
Yeah, it's in the car. Especially at McGuire, too, because you were 45 minutes from anything.
Yeah.
Like, to get to the Burlington Mall or Center, whatever the hell it was called, the quasi mall.
Yeah.
It was a 35-minute drive from the base.
Yeah, yeah. And in the year of 1997, there were 2 albums that got the most play in my car. And that was first something that I had purchased the year before, Pure Moods. I don't know if I ever talked about that here, but
That sounds familiar.
if you were alive in the 90s, you might remember these commercials. Remember the commercials that would come on and it'd be like, rock in the 60s, man.
Right.
Send a self-addressed envelope to this address.
Self-addressed stamped envelope.
And we'll send you back the CD when you send us your 1999. And
Right.
well, there was a music compilation out there called Pure Moods. It was a lot of like new age, a lot of like symphonic and just all kinds of other weird shit. But like, I liked it. It had a lot of unique stuff. It had the fucking the X-Files theme on it. That do you really want to know? And some other just like
X-Files. Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah. Who remembers the X-Files from the fucking 90s?
Jeez.
So yeah, I listened to that a lot, and I listened to the Spice Girls debut album a lot in 1997. That was in regular rotation in my car.
So-
and we're getting.
I'm sure you're going to talk more about Spice Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote at the top of my notes here, 1997, the year of Spice.
Yeah, pretty much it was. ... Like,
Girls.
yeah, I mean, we'll get into it when we talk about some of the singles, but yeah, they were the biggest talk in music in 97. I'm sorry, whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
Like they were so huge because their debut album came out in the beginning of the year.
Right.
Immediately shoots to number one.
By the end of the year, they had a movie and all,
and
all kinds of shit.
They'd released their second album and a movie before
Right.
the end of 1997.
Like, well, that escalated quickly.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Well, but the great irony is they only released one album ever after that.
Right.
But, that just kind of shows how fast that star faded.
But did it? Did it fade?
Well,
they didn't have to produce anything. They're still famous as fuck.
Yeah, and they still have reunions every once in a while and do a tour. So, but we'll talk about some of the individual songs. But yes, I was a Spice Girls guy in 97. And we'll, again, when we...
Of course you were.
Yeah. This was also the year that my love affair with Mariah Carey ended. Because her new album in
You
90s...
only had room for 2 women in your life. I get you.
Well, 5, really, if you want to. But...
Oh, tell me what I want.
But yeah, her album Butterfly came out this year, and I hated it.
Her breakup album.
Yeah, it was her first album after she got divorced.
Right.
And she decided she wanted to be a rapper, apparently. So yeah, it was a huge departure from like what she was doing normally, and with everything else going on, I'm just like, I think this might be over. And speaking of living in the dorms in the Air Force, I got exposed to a lot of very different music that I wouldn't normally listen to.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
Yeah, no, because I was friends with a lot of guys in the dorms who they were into some like off the wall stuff, like your Fish and your Daft Punk and Tool and Radiohead and Prodigy. So this was shit that I wasn't normally listening to, that they kind of exposed me to, mostly when we would be shit-faced having our fucking dorm parties, which, oh my God. That year in 97, it was like the July of 97, we had like a multi-floor party going on at once in the dorms one day. It was like both floors, like the second and the third floor, because it was a 3-story building, packed, every hallway packed with people, music blasting, fucking alcohol just flying everywhere. I can specifically remember, I'm fucking shit-faced already, and we're like, yeah, fuck party. In the hallway, some guy walks up to me, hands me a bottle, goes, drink this. Never seen this guy before in my life. I'm like, okay. Hand it back to him, and he just
Does
stumbles.
this taste like perfume?
Right. It's like, fucking hell. But those are the crazy fucking days back when we were in our early Air Force career, though I'm sure you've got a different perspective
I do.
based off of what was going on in your life.
Yeah, well, mainly because I was in tech school still.
Yeah.
And there was no dorm parties.
Yeah.
Like, we were in the dorms, but there was no parties like that.
Yeah.
I had to, if you were drinking at all, you were either going to a bar or casino or at the beach.
Yeah.
You'd be able to drink, but not anywhere near the dorms.
Right, because when you're in that training environment, they really kind of have you locked down.
Yeah.
Whereas when I got to my duty station at McGuire in New Jersey, that they take the cuffs off and you're just allowed to do whatever, and we fucking did whatever.
The idea is to keep the cuffs off.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Right. But of course, people fuck up and then they lock you down, and
then you go phase 1 day 1 and you're fucking in your PT gear.
Yeah.
Doing weeds and seeds.
Mm-hmm. So
God, so much language that they're gonna go like, what the fuck?
That's more Air Force stuff. Yeah.
Phase 1 day 1 weeds and seeds. Brady will get it.
Yeah.
Brady, Vickers, those guys, they'll get it.
Yep. But
Yes,
yeah,
duty.
and then again, at the end of this year, towards the end of the year 97, is when I met my future bride, Kristen, at a bookstore in the Burlington Mall, which
Yeah.
no longer exists, by the way. I drove by there a few weeks ago.
It's been
like,
gone for
leveled.
like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I never drive in that area. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I just happened to be in that vicinity and saw it. And,
Gone.
yeah.
Completely leveled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. It's on its way out, like how it kind of just
Oh,
faded
yeah.
away.
Yeah. But yeah, especially for, me, because that's where Kristen and I met. And yeah, we shared a lot of the same musical interests, and she shared her top 5 list with me, which I don't have it in front of me, but I might mention some of her favorite songs from that year as well as we go along.
Fuck.
What?
Oh, I was going to look something up and I fucking forgot what it was.
See, you should have written it down. All right, well,
You're right. You're absolutely right.
why don't we switch to what you were doing in 97?
Well, I alluded to it already. I was in 1997. I mean, we Jason and I have kind of given the overviews of our Air Force careers before, but in 1997, I was in basic training, finished basic training, went to Keesler Air Force Base for the next 9 months for avionics school.
And keep in mind, I had done all of this exact same stuff just a few months beforehand
Right.
in 96.
Yeah, he was ahead of me by a little bit. And yeah, the reason that the training itself is like there's like it's a 3-month school for electronics. Like they give you this fucking master's level electronics course in 3 months.
Yeah, and you're building fucking circuit boards
Yeah,
and doing all kinds of shit.
High intensity soldering and shit like that. It's basically a washout course before you get to the avionics stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go from that. If there's a bit of a break, you're kind of like you're hanging out. You're doing weeds and seeds. You're doing Special Olympics.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Hosting the Special Olympics kids in
Yep.
the dorms.
Yep.
Another reason that there's no alcohol in the dorms. But yeah, Steve Long went to the next school. Yeah, and that was in Alley
Hall, yeah.
Alley Hall, yeah.
Alley Hall and Dolan Hall.
Yep, Dolan Hall was the avionics.
Yep.
And Alley Hall was where the electronics school was.
They're still there, by the way. Well, at least they were in 2018.
Yeah,
when I was down at Keesler last.
I've been to Keesler forever.
Yeah.
My sister went to Keesler for fucking weather school when she was doing her weather school back in
Nice.
fucking forever ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I was down there and I was in the dorms at 21 years old. We had Jeff back in November of 96. So I was there I had to, leave my, girlfriend and my son back in New Jersey to go down and do this next phase of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of uncertainty with all that stuff at home and be subject to whatever the Air Force was going to, have for me. I mean, it was a PCS because it was so long.
Yeah.
Right. We changed address the whole shoot match. And, it was the advantage of the dorm environment was you did get you make friends there. And
Yeah.
I think I talked about it before our last in music in 96 when I talked about getting one of the first things I bought when I had a couple of bucks was this Sony 3-disc changer.
Yep.
To put in my room. So
Oh, yeah.
that, could throw the CDs in there and have them on a rotation. So there was music in the room and in there. But really when I got back is when the radio and kind of because I was 21 and I was most of my friends were of the age too where we could go out and see bands and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for the rest of 97 it was a very oh, okay, I'm getting music differently. It was a very weird thing to come back to because I was in the Guard.
Yeah.
So when I came back and I was doing seasoning stuff, I wasn't at McGuire. I was commuting to go up there for
Right.
the seasoning orders I was on. So I was only on orders for 5 days during the week. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
those cheap asses.
yeah, motherfuckers. So yeah, I would commute basically up to the base every day.
Yeah.
And then come back. And it was just this weird thing where I was trying to get a job and went back to the airport, and was kind of working there and realized that like I can't work here with the knowledge that I have now, and knowing that how dangerous that job really was. Like I literally, so one of the things when I came back from, I come back from tech school, and I show up back to the airport after my mill leave, right? And I'm like, like I'm so smart. I can't just came back. I'm all Air Forced up, and get out on a flight line. And I think the first week I'm back, and I'm watching a guy drives into the one of the airplanes. It was Air Jamaica. It was Air Jamaica A300, and he was he's like beating everybody like a mule, because everything is about speed. All those guys that are out there, it's like, just how fast you can do it. Damn the torpedoes. There's no fucking safety rules. It's just fucking go, get to the jet, open it, fucking get the shit out of it, fucking put the shit in it, get the fucking door closed, and get the fuck out of there. So this dude's like yelling at this guy, fucking get up to the airplane, and fucking sure as shit gets to the jet and pokes a hole in it with the fucking belt loader. And I'm watching this. I'm like, these fucking idiots, right? And I'm just thinking in my head, like, all right, what they're gonna have to do to fucking fix it. And like in the Air Force, that would have been a whole process, right?
Yeah.
All the shit they would have had to go through, right? These fucking maintainers came out, and they're like, yeah, it's not structural, not this, not that. Like, fucking put some speed tape over it, fucking get the fuck out of here. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Like, it was ridiculous. And because it was a supervisor that actually did it, like, no, there was no like after action. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I gotta get a real fucking job.
Right.
Right. Because at the time, there wasn't a full-time opportunity at the Guard. So I was, slumming it. And then I got, into the computer stuff, but that didn't really start till the next year. But in the meantime, while I was commuting and listening to radio and kind of getting caught up, it was mostly pop music.
Yeah. Were you listening to a lot of PST? 97.5 PST.
No, it was, I was listening to, at the time, it was Y100. It was at the kind of the tail end of Y100. 93.3, 94 were competing rock stations back in those days. And 102.1 that was like an alternative station. It wasn't like a hip hop station yet.
Sure.
I don't know if 97.5, I guess it was. Yeah, it was probably one of the presets, thinking about it.
Yeah. They were the ones that, like, especially by the time we got to like 98, 99, they were the ones that constantly played like the fucking Backstreet Boys, fucking NSYNC. That was all the stuff that was in regular rotation on there.
That's
for the end of the decade.
I couldn't do.
Oh yeah, no, me either.
Yeah, Steve was on in the chat. He was on F-16s. Like, I was on 135s. Jason, he was on the KC-10.
Yeah.
So we both went through heavy avionics. So, and then there's separation, right? So it was kind of a shred out. Like, if you went to heavy avionics, so like you went one direction, Dolan Hall, and if you were in like fighters and everything else, you went the other direction.
Yeah.
So we learned the 10, the 135, the B-52, the C-130. I'd learned the A-10s. Fucking remember the A-10 HUD? Remember we worked on the A-10 HUD system and all that. So it was fucking cool, man. It's the Air Force training back in those days. I can't speak to it now because I haven't had to do it in fucking forever. But I remember in those days, the shit that I learned, I still have those books. I still have all my Alley Hall and Dolan Hall books.
Oh wow, yeah, I tossed those a long time ago.
Yeah, I kept all that shit.
Nice.
And because it's fascinating to see like how much information was really thrown at me.
Yeah, no, like you said, we were there for 9 fucking months. And it was designed to start from zero to getting us to repair airplanes.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. It was a lot of information.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was 97.
All right. So getting into some of the specific music, I think I want to start with some notable debuts in 97.
Yeah.
And we already
Besides
talked
the Spicy Girls?
Yeah, we talked about the Spice Girls already, which, you know, sidebar, or not a sidebar, it's kind of on point. One of the big things when the Spice Girls first came out was the whole, oh, who's your favorite, right? Which one's your favorite Spice Girl? You know, everybody had theirs. Did you have one at any point?
No.
See,
I was so unplugged to the Spice Girl thing.
See, it's so funny because I actually had moments where throughout the course of this year, one of them like was my favorite, and it like rotated to where like at one point I liked all of them and they were all my favorite one, depending on like the music video that came out or whatever other reason, whatever I was feeling. But yeah, I each one of them was my favorite at one point or another throughout the year.
I couldn't even name the Spice Girls.
No?
I just from looking in the chat, is Sporty Spice really one of them?
Sporty, yeah, Mel C.
Okay, so Sporty Spice,
Yeah,
Posh.
Posh was Victoria.
Right. And is she the one that's married to fucking
Beckham, yeah.
Beckham? Okay.
Yeah, she's probably the only one that's gotten any sort of like fame outside of being in the Spice Girls because she married what's his nuts. They had like a reality show together.
David Beckham, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's a Lego guy, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I brought that up on a show a couple weeks ago. But yeah, David Beckham, he's Victoria or Posh or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She taped him. He was working until like 2 a.m. on a Lego build. Right? And she's taping him, making fun of him. And he's like, no, this is how I relax. You build with Legos. And I'm like, yes, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
David Beckham.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Tell your fucking Posh Spice broad. Suck it.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we also had Baby Spice Emma and Ginger Spice, who was Jerry Halliwell.
That's you just made all of that up.
I did not.
Somebody had to have made that up. Somebody was like, "All right, we're going to call you the Spice Girls," and let's. Oh, hang on, that's the wrong accent. They're all British.
Yes.
We're going not. They're not Cockney.
What was that?
It's very. I'll come up with something.
All right, yeah. Keep thinking about it. Some other notable debuts along the same
lovely filth down here.
along the same ilk as the Spice Girls. We had the Backstreet Boys come into prominence this year, as well as NSYNC, 98 Degrees.
They were all the same, right? Were they all the same group?
Damn near.
I could not like.
Oh, and I hated them all, by the way.
I could not stand any of them. Like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees, the fucking. I couldn't tell you right now. I'm looking at the names of them. I can't tell you which one that Justin Timberlake was on.
He was in NSYNC.
Okay.
And I ended up liking one NSYNC song that came out in like 2000. It was like, "It's Gonna Be Me."
Speaking of sidebar.
Yeah.
Did you see that there's a clip out there, or like it's a YouTube short or something, and there's like this woman, she's like, what is one word that you've mispronounced in your life that you've regretted?
Yeah.
And it's Justin Timberlake, and he says, me.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's become a meme now.
Yeah. But that took me a second. It took me a second. I'm like, why is he talking? Oh,
It's gonna be me.
Yeah, but it did take me a second.
Yep. 97 was also the year of Hanson. Which, by the way, when their song came out and their music video especially came out, like I know a lot of people weren't sure if any of them were actually girls or if they were all boys. Because, they had the long hair and they sang like girls, but
weren't they all like fucking 12 or something?
Yeah, they were all boys.
Kids, right?
Yeah.
Fucking children.
Yeah. No, it was weird. Missy Elliott had her debut solo album, I guess, come out this year. Will Smith released Big Willie Style, which was technically his solo debut album. No DJ Jazzy Jeff to go along with him.
Yeah. Sad face.
Yeah.
Beginning of the end.
Yeah. So I say Savage Garden, like, oh, Savage Garden's this big group. I'm like, well, now that I think about it, now they only had a few songs in the late 90s, and that was it. But again, a boomer like me, they're just as, famous as some other popular group that's out now. I don't know. Limp Bizkit had their debut album this year. Natalie Imbruglia, Smash Mouth, which is pretty relevant because the lead singer just died like a month ago. So
Natalie Imbruglia, she's on my others deserving mention.
Yeah. Well, I know Kristen loved her song Torn. When her and I were first dating, she loved that song like a lot. And it's a good song.
I just listened to it earlier today, actually. Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, not bad at all. So
I like people that can sing.
Yeah.
There's just something about that. Like, hey, you have the ability to sing.
Right, which
not so tell me what I want.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because going back to the Spice Girls for a minute. Back then, like, I had no musical taste, obviously. I couldn't recognize a good voice from a bad voice. I either liked something or I didn't.
Right.
And I can specifically remember people saying like, oh God, they can't fucking sing. They fucking suck. Their voices are terrible. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. These girls sound great. Well, I'm re-listening to them over the last week to kind of get geared up for the show. And I'm like, oh God. Yeah, their voices really were bad, except for Sporty, who was the one that I liked the least, because I always thought her voice sounded kind of weird. But now that I listen to it,
her voice sounds weird. What is that?
Oh, it's called
Talent.
Yeah, it's called Talent.
That's what Talent sounds like.
Yeah, and then you start to see a pattern too with their fucking songs, because they always start with some of the okay girls in the beginning, the one who can't sing in the middle, and then they always close it with like a Sporty Spice, portion where she's just like belting out fucking words, and it makes it sound good. And yeah, so there was
it's like recency bias, right? So it's like, oh, it finished good, so it must have been good.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure that was done on purpose.
It fucking worked for a year.
Yeah,
that was a fucking shit hot year. That's for damn sure. Put all our money with Bertie Madoff and everything will be fine, right?
Yeah, right. So I'm sure there were other debuts that were pretty notable in 97, but these are the ones that I kind of focused on as I was doing my research. Moving over to some more notable events in music that happened. Fucking the notorious B.I.G. was murdered this year. So we talked about in 96 when Tupac was killed.
Right.
And now in 97, Notorious B.I.G. Now, here's the thing. I think I mentioned this when we talked about the music in 96. But before I got to fucking Jersey, I had no idea who Puff Daddy was. I had no idea who the Notorious Big was, or some of these other fucking people. I'm like, who the fuck are these people? When I get to Jersey and that's like all that's on the radio, I'm like, who's Puff Daddy? What the fuck is that? Because I grew up. Yeah, because I grew up on the West Coast. Right. I was listening to Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Ice-T, fucking... all the West Coast rappers.
So it's such an interesting thing to say out loud in one sentence.
Yeah.
Ice Cube, Ice-T, those musicians.
But when I got out to Jersey, like fucking, Puff Daddy was huge. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I've never heard of this guy before in my life.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh yeah, I love this guy. I'm like,
Usher,
from where?
Usher.
Oh, sidebar. Kristen and I got into an argument like 2 nights ago. Yeah, like 2 nights ago about Usher, because I guess he's doing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
So that came up. And I'm like, well, obviously fucking Lil Jon and Ludacris are probably already reserved for that day, because there's no fucking way he doesn't perform that song at the Super Bowl. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, was that a very popular song? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That was his most popular song.
Yeah.
And she's like arguing with me. I'm like, no, you fucking Google right now. What is the most popular Usher song? And it's going to be, Yeah, with fucking Lil Jon and all those guys. And she's like, no.
Is that considered an Usher song?
Yeah, because it was on an Usher album, and he just had the guests of Lil Jon and Ludacris and all that. And she's fucking arguing with me. I'm like, fucking Google it right now.
What?
And sure as shit, the top hit when you type in the most popular Usher songs. Yeah, right there. I'm like,
okay.
Redemption.
What?
But anyway, we're not talking about... Oh God, what? What'd I miss? That is exactly how that went.
Do we need to get her in here to?
I mean, she can tell her side if she wants, but that's not, or that is how it went down, the way I described it. Exactly. To the letter.
She said, I never said it wasn't.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to Notorious Big was killed. And then all of a sudden, because again, that's what they fucking do, is now he's a fucking musical genius after he's been murdered, because that's what they love to do. Just like they did with fucking Tupac and Kurt Cobain. It's like all of a sudden, as soon as like they fucking get murdered or blow their brains out, they're fucking musical gods. And they did the same fucking thing with Biggie. And they're like, oh my God, he was so great and killed before his time and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay.
You're really putting this guy on the same, you're putting this guy on the same equatorial plane as Kurt Cobain.
I'm not. I'm just saying that's what the music press does. Or at least that's what they did in the 90s. Whenever somebody would die, it's like, oh, now all of a sudden they were a fucking musical genius.
Well,
and
MTV at the time still had like MTV News, and this MTV News had to have something to run, and this is what they ran with.
Right, but it wasn't just that. It was like the magazines and all that, and just
who fucking looked at magazines?
This was the 90s. There was no fucking internet at our fingertips.
In 97.
In 97, at the end of 97, I bought a web TV. Do you remember web TV? It was a little fucking box that you plugged into your TV and into your phone line, and it would give you a web browser.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
because I didn't have
computers.
Well, yeah, I didn't have a computer at the time.
Yeah.
Because they were like $3,000 for a good computer.
I always had computers and modems.
Yeah.
Because we would have parts, and we'd put we were building computers out of parts.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Well, some of us didn't have that privilege, Dave. So
privilege or just the ability to scrounge.
Right.
One or the other.
Yeah, and but yeah, like I read Entertainment Weekly every week until like fucking 2004, something like that. So yeah, the written press was still a thing at the time.
What was I reading in 1997? Oh, I know what I was reading in 1997. I was reading the fucking books for Alley and Dolan Hall.
Yeah.
My average was a 98 while I was there.
Right. So yeah, that was one event that happened, was fucking Biggie dying. Fleetwood Mac reunited for in that year, and they released the live album The Dance, which I still listen to on a regular basis now, because I love Fleetwood Mac. I'm sorry, but I think they were fucking incredible. When they had Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
You know more about Fleetwood Mac than I do.
Yeah.
There's songs that I like, and when I hear them, I go, I like that.
Yeah. No, like I'm all about Fleetwood Mac.
My parents, I'll say my parents, but I think more my mom was like super into it.
Yeah.
Not me nearly as much.
Yeah. So speaking of people who died, apparently Princess Diana died. It was either in 97 or late 96.
So I think she died in 96. The
Okay.
song, the Elton John song, which was I think that was the number one song.
Yeah, it was the number one single of the whole year of 97.
Which, look, it's not on my list.
Oh, me either.
It's not a bad song.
Well, I've never actually listened to it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah. In all of my life, I've never listened to that song from start to finish because I don't like it.
So
and I also don't like the royal family people.
Well, that's fine.
So they can go fuck off.
That's what's funny is she was the epitome of the royal family can go fuck off.
Yeah, that's true.
Get a divorce, go fucking live outside of the fucking royal confines and the whole thing. She was the ultimate royal fuck you.
Yep, until the queen had her killed.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously. I think there's some English in the chat that can back that up.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not a bad song musically. It's really one of those things. Elton John is such a talented musician that I'm not like an Elton John fan, but there's songs that are just like Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah,
so fucking good.
Yeah, he's done some good stuff. I never liked Candle in the Wind though. And I thought it was stupid.
And plus, it was over fucking played.
Yes.
Now, let's put this in context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. She did die in 97, August 31st, 1997.
Okay.
So it was 97. If you were English, right, and Princess Diana was big. She was kind of big there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spice Girls big.
Mm-hmm.
He's English. Puts out that song.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant for the fucking American
True.
audience.
And
it just happens to go big there.
Yeah, and we've already established that Jason doesn't like British accents, so
I am the only one that can speak with a British accent.
though I love the Spice Girls, go figure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Maybe because you want to just abuse. But yeah, so as big as that song was, it was written very specifically for the English to mourn the English.
Yeah.
You know, it was not meant for us.
That's true.
It was not. So
Yeah.
it's like, but musically, I can appreciate the fact that it was a good song.
Okay.
Not going to make any of my lists, but I'll listen to the song, and the lyrics were touching. I mean, I can appreciate that this was a national icon. That is a song written by a national icon for somebody who died.
Yeah.
100%. I'm with it. Cool. Not on my list.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, definitely not on mine either. So we've talked about In Vogue a lot as we've done some of these years in music, and in '97, the gal Dawn Robinson, who was like the main girl, like whenever they did songs, she was always the one who was front and center. She had the best voice. She left the group, and that pretty much killed the fucking group. Like the other three stayed together and they kept trying to release music, but it was once Dawn left the group, they were fucking done. And they had just come off of that really good single, the Don't Let Go, from the Set It Off soundtrack, which I think came out in the end of '96.
Jason just said a lot of words that I don't have any fucking idea what he's talking about.
Whatever.
The Set It Off soundtrack. You know, everyone knows that, right?
Yeah, it had
you all know that?
Queen Latifah and Jada Pinkett were in that movie. They were bank robbers. Anyway.
Well, that's believable.
Let
me watch this. This is the most realistic thing I've ever seen.
Something else. We talked about when Metallica released the Load album.
It's Queen Latifah. Is she robbing this bank? Oh, wow.
I don't know what that's about. In '97, they released Reload.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they needed to reload
Yeah.
the load.
Yeah, because obviously Load was not the success with their fans that they were hoping for.
Facts.
So they kind of did Reload, which I think part of it was tracks that didn't get used in the original Load, and they tried to I don't know, redo some stuff, but
I don't know. Fuel is on my others deserving mention.
yeah.
Because there's a couple of songs on there that aren't bad.
Well, and I like The Memory Remains because, like, if you really listen to the lyrics, I always thought that song was about Axl Rose. Like, on the surface, it kind of sounds just like a fading, like, actress, you know, but I really do think he's talking about Axl Rose in that. And a lot of people theorize that the song's actually about that whole night where his fucking hand got lit on fire, James Hetfield's.
Right.
And, you know, then Guns N' Roses were supposed to come out and finish do their set, and they didn't. And it caused a riot.
It's fucking shithead.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that song is actually about that whole night. But, you know, Axl Rose is the heavy rings hold cigarettes and the faded prima donna.
Dude, I am sitting here I am this old. Never having thought that ever once.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Oh.
So now I'm going to have to listen to it.
Yeah, listen to The Memory Remains, because I'm 99% sure at least a part of that song is about Axl Rose.
Interesting.
Because they did not get along towards the end of that tour because of what the bullshit that Axl pulled. He wasn't a very nice guy, apparently. And, after that tour was over, I don't think there was ever any real communication between the two groups because of that animosity that was there. So that's that.
There's nothing. I've got nothing for Guns N' Roses. Nothing.
Well, they didn't do anything this year either in '97.
I know, but I mean, I just never, even back then. There's no movement.
Okay. I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan.
I know you
as
were.
We've already talked about.
I know you were.
All right. Do you want to talk about some of the bigger singles that came out in '97?
Tell me what I want, what I really want.
Well, we talked about Spice Girls a little bit. So yeah, like you said, The Candle in the Wind was the #1 single of the year by far. The #2 was a little bit surprising for me, not because it's a bad song or anything. I'm just surprised it was such a hit. And that was Jewel. Jewel had her kind of big breakout album with the what is it? The Pieces of Me, Pieces of You. I don't know. Whatever her debut album was, which I think actually came out in 96, I want to say.
94.
96. But the
Foolish Games?
oh,
Was that
95 apparently is when it came out. But then the single for You Were Meant for Me came out in, I want to say 96 or 97. And yeah, it was big.
Yeah, she had I think, again, and others deserving mention, because I have so many of them, I'm getting some of them out of the way now while we're in the middle of it. Yeah, I had Jewel it was everywhere. It was on the radio constantly.
Yeah. And she was talented too. That's the thing. Like, she had a good voice and she played her instruments and
Yeah,
she
was a talented musician.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yep.
And I think it was one of the CDs that I got from the Capitol Music giveaway.
Yeah.
That I'm sure was meant to be a giveaway and not stolen music at all.
Yeah. So, and not to be outdone by Elton John writing a song about a recently deceased person, the #3 single of the year was Puff Daddy's "I'll Be Missing You" with Faith Evans. That fucking song. It's basically it's a reboot of the Police's "Every Breath I Take." He just changes the lyrics, uses the same guitar riff, like samples the guitar riff, and change the words to "I'll be missing you" instead of "I'll be watching you."
Yeah, no.
And I fucking hated it. I hated it then. I tried listening to it recently. I'm just like, no, it's stupid.
No.
It's fucking dumb.
Nope, I skipped it.
Yeah.
I skipped it because in Apple Music I went, like, at one point I had gone, like, I put in just in the search bar 1997 and it came up with a playlist and I just played that. Yeah, it fucking showed up in there. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Now, we had a couple of holdover singles from the previous year. "Unbreak My Heart" by Toni Braxton, which was big in 96. In fact, I even think I told a story about that song when we did the music of 96. That was the 4th top selling single of 97. So we had some bleed over there. Same with R. Kelly's "I Believe I Can Fly."
I believe I can piss on you.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, here's a single that... I know that was also in 96. So a lot of these top singles, if you look at the Wikipedia page, came out in 96. Yeah, what he said. So,
Yeah, looking at this, like, bitch.
oh god,
Meredith.
that fucking song. You know what pisses me off about that song is she's trying so hard to be edgy, right? Because we got to remember, Alanis Morissette hit big like
Right.
a couple years before this and was fucking massive for years after this. And it seemed like she was trying to go for that kind of a vibe, like, oh, the title of my song is going to be "Bitch," and I'm going to say "bitch" all the time. But, like, you listen to it and you look at her in the video and you're like, you're not fucking, like... anything. You are the plainest looking fucking boring person I've ever laid my eyes on. And just the way you sing your song, the way you present it and everything, just no.
I just thought it was honestly I thought it was a Walmart version of Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
I didn't think the song was that bad. In fact, I wrote it down for a conversation piece, but yeah. But, like, what else do we have on here on this list?
Well, I've got some WTF songs that I made a list of if you want to go through some of those.
Well, I'm curious about that.
Let's talk about White Town's "Your Woman." You remember that fucking song?
No.
I could never be your woman. Dun, 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 dun. It's the fucking Imperial March that's playing on, like, a horn. And then in between, it's this guy singing, "I could never be your woman. I could never be your woman." No? Nothing?
Oh.
Yeah. And the fucking horn. Okay, I'm going to pull it up right now. And you know what? If we get fucking copyrighted for this, fuck them. I just want you to listen to the horn in the beginning, because it sounds like the goddamn Imperial March. We're doing this live, folks. I don't know if they'll be able to hear it, which is probably for the best. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. All right. I know exactly what this is.
That's the Imperial March. Dun, 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 dun.
Kind of. Kind of.
But yeah, the song was fucking stupid. It's a guy singing to another guy, like saying, I could never be your woman. So I'm sitting there like, so what, are you gay? And you're like trying to get with this guy? And he's like, no. Like, fucking weird ass song.
I didn't even brush by it on my list. It just is like, it was just one of those songs that exists. I just went, that exists.
Yep. Something else that's fairly relevant today, Aqua's Barbie Girl.
Yeah.
Came out in 97.
That was all over the fucking
Yeah,
the
that was
chart.
everywhere too. Yeah.
It's just funny because it had this in 97 coming back from school, from tech school and all that, and the club scene. This was playing
Oh yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like some club mix of Barbie Girl was playing constantly. So
Mhm.
it's funny playing it to this day. It is in my boots and pants mix.
Yeah, it's a pretty good dance song.
Because and for working out, like
Yeah.
one of the version I have to it is a good for being on the bicycle. It's just a good pacing song.
Yeah, it was a weird fucking song at the time, just the whole concept. And now, of course, there was a big uproar when people found out the song Barbie Girl was not in the Barbie movie that just came out, which I guess a lot of people wanted that in
What
there.
a travesty.
Yeah, I know,
Oh my
right?
God. If I go the rest of my life without seeing the Barbie movie,
Yeah,
I can say that I lived.
I have no desire to be lectured
None.
about the patriarchy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. So Third Eye Blind. This was like the year that they kind of came into prominence.
Mm-hmm.
I've always hated Third Eye Blind because I hate that fucking singer's voice. He sings like he's like singing in baby talk. He's like, I wish you would step out from that wedge, my friend. I hate that guy's voice so fucking much. It pisses me off every time I hear him sing. Yeah, I hate it.
How can I exploit this? Whenever Jason hates something so adamantly, all I can think about is how I can exploit it in the future. Is that wrong?
Yeah, just put it on your list
Yes.
of things.
It goes in the file for later.
We already talked about Meredith Brooks's Bitch. Chumbawamba's Tub Thumper came out this year, which, I mean, that for somebody who was partying in the fucking dorms, drinking his ass off, every Friday and Saturday night.
This song was playing for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because it's
I get knocked down and I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down. Ugh.
yeah. Because I mean, and that's all it is. It's really just about pissing the night away, as
Yes.
the gal sings.
I take a whiskey drink. I take a soda drink. Actually, I take a lot of drink.
Yeah.
And then I try and pronounce the Chubba Wabba Wamba.
Yeah. So this song is not winning any Grammys by any stretch, but it
And
was.
plus, like, come on, man. Tub Thumping.
Tub Thumping was the name of the song.
Tub Thumping by Chubba Wabba Wamba.
Yeah, clearly you're not taking yourselves very seriously.
This is Casey Kasem. This top 40 hit.
And
Tub Thumping by Chubba Wamba Wamba.
yeah. Which, by the way, they didn't have any other songs. Go figure.
That's well, if you got that one, I
Yeah.
mean, shit. How many times did I listen to it today? I probably listened to it twice today.
Right, yeah.
Because getting ready for the show, and I was like, oh, I'll fucking listen to it. It's I get knocked down, I get up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the Spice Girls song Wannabe specifically. I actually don't like this song. I didn't like it back then. When it first came out,
How does it go?
I'm not telling you. But you know how it goes. We all know how it goes. Like, I know the fucking lyrics, the intelligible fucking not word lyrics. I still know them, but
Is
the
that
song
the-
itself is
Oh,
fucking
tell me
dumb.
what I want, what I really, really want. Is that
Yeah.
that song?
Yeah. So
Oh,
tell
okay.
me what you want, what you really, really want.
I wanna.
I want to
That's-
really, really, really want to zig a zig ah. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
So when the song first came out,
It means they're going to make a lot of money that year.
Right.
That's what that means.
well, yeah, but when the song came out, I hated it. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Right, and then everybody else around me is like, oh, it's the Spice Girls. You know, they're so hot. Which one do you like? I'm like, fuck this. It wasn't until the music video for "Say You'll Be There" came out, and then I'm like, oh, that's the one where they're all in the desert and they're all in like skimpy kind of metal.
Dude,
fucking.
I don't have any. I have
Dave,
no.
you're killing me.
I was not in the dorms. I was not in the dorms just watching television. I was in the dorms, but we didn't have fucking access to that television.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I was watching reruns of fucking South Park and Star Wars.
Oh yeah, which South Park was huge at this point.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, no, it wasn't until their subsequent singles that I actually started really liking the Spice Girls. I never liked Wannabe. It was never a favorite of mine.
So what was the other song?
Say You'll Be There was their second single.
How's that one go?
And the six, I'm giving you everything, all the joy I bring. This I swear.
Oh, I have.
Yes,
heard
I
that
swear.
Song. I have heard that song.
And all that I want from you is the promise you will be there. Say you will be there. Ow. Say you will be there.
Bad. So awful. So awful.
But again, if you watch the music video for this, you'll understand. It all becomes clear.
Tell me what I want, really want.
Because that's the thing back then. I was still watching MTV pretty heavily and keeping up with the music videos. So
Apparently, we're sleeping on "Move Over" by the Spice Girls.
well, that came later in the year. That was the the song that went along with the Pepsi commercial
right.
that they did.
That's what Sean
then,
Badia is bringing.
Yeah,
up.
and then they put it on their second album. Move over, yeah, don't do it over, cause that's
God.
over. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
I
yeah.
really have no like
Generation Next.
There is no literally like no synapse firing for any recognition for any of this. It is amazing.
Well,
I'm actually proud of myself. I'm actually really proud of myself that I have zero fucking recognition for this.
all right. Well, you know what? You're missing out. Then there's nothing else I can say about that.
Am I, Jason?
Yeah. It was all.
So, do you really want me to listen to this? Do you want me to listen to these fucking lyrics so that I can come in here and I can fucking sing it
Yes,
to you?
I think you should. I think
Yeah,
you
you
should.
want me-
I think you should spend a week and study up on some Spice Girls.
Right.
Listen to their first two albums, and
Okay.
then come back and tell me what you think.
I'm not going to tell you.
You're gonna sing to me.
I'm going to sing it to you.
That's fine.
I'm going to sing it. J-Lo's going to sing it. It's everyone's going to sing it.
Yeah. So this was also the year that I realized I hated Beck. We talked about before he came out with his song "Loser," which at the time I actually liked it, but very quickly I started to realize how much of trash it was. And then he came out with the song "The New Pollution" this year, and it was fucking dumb. And I realized like Beck is horrible. Like, why do people like this person?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Loser song was the only one that I can recognize by Beck.
Yeah. But, you know, again, all the people who didn't like popular music, they're like, you know, I listened to, you know, these guys when they were underground. They all liked Beck for some reason. Like, yeah, Beck's awesome. He's such a good musician. Okay. Sure, buddy. Now, what did you think about the Wallflowers One Headlight?
I talked about this on the Music in '96 because this came out.
Oh, is that when
'96.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is one of those
The transitional
ones.
Yeah.
So, somebody's posted their another addition to the mixtape that Luna Girl's putting together.
Oh, okay.
That will be available after our show today.
Yeah.
No, so One Headlight was like the theme song of our dorm rooms
Mm-hmm.
because I had that Wallflower CD.
Uh-huh.
It was the Wallflower CD. It was Marilyn Manson's "Beautiful People."
That's quite a difference.
Yeah, and Adam Sandler's fucking.
They're all gonna laugh at
They're
you.
all gonna laugh at you.
No!
No, bro, they're all gonna laugh at you. Like,
Oh, that's good shit.
That's what was in the CD changer.
Uh-huh.
So as you can imagine, very eclectic. But yeah, One Headlight. And fact is, I listened to that. That was the second to last song I listened to before I pulled up here.
Oh, nice.
Just because it happened to come on in '97. It was one of the, I guess it was one of the top singles.
Mhm.
But it was by technicality, I didn't include it in my top 5 because it was a 96.
Mm.
But it would absolutely have been in my top 5 because we played it so much
Yeah.
in the hall. And then to see if it was on the CD random, like the disc changer randomizer, and I could hear it in my head, like I can hear the disc changing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the beautiful people come on.
And that's so funny because in your head, probably for the rest of your life, you're going to have that association.
Oh, yeah.
With those three albums.
Yeah.
And it's funny how our brains do that.
No!
Oh, it's good shit.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
I always found that song to be fucking just boring and dull. Like, I never really got into it.
If I don't know why. I had the album because of fucking Columbia House or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And if it wasn't the dorm association and playing it so often, like everyone in the dorm knew that song because of having the CD.
Yeah.
It was that what is it? Not Stockholm syndrome, but it was just like because it was there.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just kind of like, oh wow, okay, you just grow to like it.
Yeah.
Because it was playing so often. Like the rest of the songs on that album, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
But that one song was definitely one of them.
Okay. This was also the year that I realized I was kind of done with Aerosmith. Because, we had the big resurgence of Aerosmith in the early 90s with Crying and Crazy and all that. And then they came out with this album in 97, and the title song was Pink. And because Steven Tyler, he got away with a lot of sexual innuendo with the crying and all that. And apparently he was trying to just continue on with that. And
this wasn't a good album.
No, it sucked.
It really wasn't a good album.
Yeah.
I struggled because I saw Aerosmith had released an album in 97 when I was doing research for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, what did he come out with in 97? I was really struggling. And I went to the album and looked. I'm like, oh, this is all hot garbage. That's why I don't remember it.
Yeah. And that Pink song, again, we know what he's actually talking about.
Right.
And it was so fucking stupid. Just dumb. And that was, the last hurrah for me with Aerosmith was, after hearing that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can put those guys on the shelf and move on.
Well, Aerosmith's one of those, after this, like I hadn't seen him in concert until well after this.
Yeah, which by the way, they're doing their farewell concert.
Allegedly.
Or farewell tour as we speak.
How many farewell tours do bands do?
Yeah.
It's like farewell until we run out of money.
Right. Well, but I mean, apparently a lot of them are doing it right now. Elton John's doing it. Speaking of Elton John, fucking Aerosmith, somebody else is also doing a farewell tour right now. There's like a couple other bands that are all doing final tours.
There's another big one.
Yeah.
That's doing it. Shit. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
The chat will tell us.
Yeah. So yeah, that's those were just some I called them WTF in 1997. Just some weird things that I wanted to talk about.
Well, also in 1997, a couple that I wanted to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
The first Ozfest was in 1997.
Oh right, I forgot about Ozfest.
That had Pantera and Black Sabbath.
Nice.
In it, like almost all of Black Sabbath for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And the Monkees had their first reunion.
Oh shit!
And they had 2 sold-out shows at Wembley.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, that would be fucking cool because I love the Monkees.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? So I was at the record store at the Berlin Mart, and there was a guy there that was a guy came in there randomly and was looking for a Monkees album, like if they had any, and he's like, oh, it would be in this section if we have any, and they didn't because and apparently he had one like a few days before and somebody came in and bought it.
Yeah.
I was like, it seems so random. Like who would be looking for the Monkees? But they're like who's my age.
Yeah.
Right? Our age. Maybe a little bit older. But I'd get a Monkees album. I love the Monkees.
Sure.
It was just great fun music.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
aren't they all dead now?
I think they're no, I think one's still alive.
Oh, okay.
I think Peter might still be alive. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that shit anyway. And Sean Batty is hey, we're the Beatles. And honestly, the Beatles spoke very highly of the Monkees. But yeah, so there was 2 big ones. There was one other one. There was a big fucking Pet Sounds had a
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was like a
sessions, Pet
Yeah.
Sound Sessions, and there was
like a bunch of unreleased recordings and whatnot.
yeah. So there was a new version of God Only Knows and shit. Fuck. What was it? Oh, damn it, Dave. The lyrics are in my head. Oh, Peter Tork died 2 years ago. Shit. Mickey's still alive. Really? Mickey Dolenz is still alive? Oh my god.
Well, there was one other big like music festival that started in '97 that was pretty big for a few years, and that was Lilith Fair.
Oh,
If you remember that,
Lilith Fair,
it was like the all female performers, like headlined by Sarah McLachlan and a couple others. Because I remember Kristen went to the second Lilith Fair in '98 or '99. 99.
Oh, I can't remember the other song. Anyway, Pet Sound Sessions. Led Zeppelin released the BBC Sessions, which was a couple of really good live tracks off of that. The Titanic soundtrack.
Oh
came
yeah.
out.
Well, I've got soundtracks. We've got a section for soundtracks.
And then it's probably not in your soundtrack section. Let me look at it real quick. I don't think it's in there. The animated movie Anastasia, which is
Oh yeah, I remember always seeing the trailers for that, but I
Yeah.
never saw the movie.
it's Kathy's like one of her favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that came out in '97. So that was one of the soundtracks that was out, but there wasn't anything specific on it. But yeah, I was like, shit, that came out in '97. Holy crap!
Yeah, I know,
It's
right?
just one of those that just kind of took me by surprise that like it's been around for that long.
Yeah. So you mentioned movie soundtracks. I had
Yes.
a list of some notable ones. First of all, '97 was the year of the Star Wars special editions.
That's right.
Which we've talked about to death of how we saw those, but alongside those special editions came these special edition soundtracks, which were at least 2 discs, maybe even 3 discs per movie. With those special edition soundtracks, and I bought them all. I still have them somewhere. They might even be here in the studio.
Yeah.
They came in these like cool black vinyl cases, and they were like a book that opened, and yeah, it was really, really good. Like essentially the definitive version of the original trilogy soundtrack.
I can't remember if I had them or not. So, sidebar.
Yeah.
We all know that I've been on this like LP kick for music that I really like.
Sure.
I want on vinyl.
Yeah.
And I talked about it last week. I think last week how I picked up a CD player to be able to play CDs.
It got no CD player. It only got the 8-track. Whoever designed my car can lick my sweaty nutsack. Sorry, go ahead. You got a CD player and a vinyl player.
Piece of shit car.
Speaking of Adam Sandler.
Piece of ass. All right. Fuck.
Vinyl, CD player.
Oh yeah. So I got the CD player, and I'm like, a lot of these record stores have huge CD sections too.
Currently? Like in present time?
Well, and the LP stores, like you go in like Bowen Mart or like the places in Bordentown, stuff like that.
Okay.
Bunch of CDs, and honestly, Goodwill and places like that too.
Sure.
The problem with CDs is that they don't age well,
Yeah.
and they're very easy to distort and scratch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, I dealt with my fair share of scratch CDs back in the day.
And I'm like, God damn it! There's some stuff like the Phantom Menace is not on LP.
Oh.
It's just not. So it's like, fuck, if I really want to have that on some format for the soundtrack, I have to get it on a CD.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating. But I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole I want to go with that. Like, is having something on CD, you can't listen to a CD without power.
Right.
Like, so if the world ends,
Oh, we're going back to that discussion.
Yeah.
The whole what happens if the world ends, the Apple servers go down, and
the world ends. Like the EMP has gone off, and now
okay.
now I'm like spinning a record and using a fucking needle.
Yeah, a
playing
needle
it.
and a piece of paper wrapped in a cone shape.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm making generating my own power to fucking make a turntable and make a fucking Victorola.
Yeah. No, that's a good point because if the EMP goes off, there's no Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Sad. I don't know what to say to that.
I don't know either. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah. Or like, is there a way you can just like send an audio file to a company and they'll print a fucking LP of it?
There probably is. I mean, there's probably the way to get a pressing of something.
Yeah.
God only knows how expensive that would be.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't do it with a licensed copy of something.
It's fair. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Anyway,
Maybe somebody in the chat will fucking find it and be like, hey, look, it's in this compilation.
Yeah.
LP.
So, Star Wars Special Editions. Other notable soundtracks. Lost Highway. Don't even know what that movie's about. I vaguely remember seeing like the poster and all that, but the soundtrack was a lot of heavy techno stuff. Trent Reznor had a lot of input to the soundtrack, and it was a lot of alternative techno type stuff. Apparently pretty popular amongst the
all right
people who don't like popular music kind of thing. The movie Men in Black came out that year, if you were listening to the radio in the summer of 97, you would hear, "Here come the Men in Black, Galaxy Defenders." So yeah, the Will Smith song that went along with that was fucking everywhere for a while. Oh my God. Yeah, it was something.
I like the movie Men in Black.
Oh, the movie was great.
I really enjoyed that movie, and I like Will Smith as an actor, but goddamn, that song was annoying.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it. Batman and Robin came out that year.
So I foolishly saw that a Batman movie came out this year.
Yeah,
there's got to be some good shit on that soundtrack.
There was one good track on that soundtrack. I know they tried to build it up the same way they built up Batman Forever, right? Because this was supposed to be bigger and better than Batman Forever,
right?
And it ended up being just like worse in every conceivable way. And that I think it was R. Kelly song. He came out with a song about Gotham City.
Yeah,
it's like,
it was R. Kelly.
It's a city of love, city of pain. It's Gotham City. It was stupid.
I love your like you have this Eric Cartman like. You just need to go a little bit louder.
Maybe I could do that. But yeah, no, it was a soundtrack they tried to pump up, but it fell flat. Again, with the exception of one song that we'll talk about. Well, actually, I think we can talk about it now because I don't think it made my top 5. No, it didn't make my top 5. So, Jewel had an alternate version of her Foolish Games song on that soundtrack. So
That's right, I did see that.
She had there was a version of Foolish Games on her actual album, which is very, very different than the one that it ended up getting released as a single. Like it was put on the Batman and Robin soundtrack and it was released as a single with the music video for that song. It's very, very different from the original version that's on her album. Kind of sucks, honestly. But this kind of updated version that she did in 97, far better. It was a really good song. Almost made my top 5 list. Honestly, like Jewel's Foolish Games is a really good song. And that's one of Kristen's favorites too. It was in her top 5 for this year.
Oh, something good came out of
Batman. So yeah, it was
Batman and Robin besides Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah. And then of course, this is something that's going to bleed over into 98 when we start talking about like the top albums and the top singles of 1998. In December of 97, December 19th, I believe it was, a little movie called Titanic hit the theaters.
Yeah.
And we all know what song came out of that.
Yeah.
The song will go on and on and on forever. And you know, the first couple of times you heard it, it might not have been that bad. After the 3,000th time you heard it, it's probably enough.
It is probably the most played song next to, like, I think the Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas Is You" probably is the most played song ever.
Uh-huh.
Like ever recorded, ever played.
Sure.
This is probably a close second.
Yeah.
Just because of Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
And God, how many times did we end up seeing Titanic?
I know I saw it twice in theaters.
We saw it multiple times in theaters because my friend Sean was going out with this girl Kara, and she fucking was obsessed with the movie, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Well, so I actually got in trouble because I was home on leave when this came out. And I saw it with my friends because I'm home with my friends. This new movie's coming out. Let's go see it. Apparently, when you do that, the girl that you just started dating, like within the last month, doesn't look too kindly on that. You see in like this romantic movie without her,
Right?
And yeah, apparently
Was it romantic? I mean, what's romantic about fucking leaving some dude to fucking drown to death?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think he froze to death. He didn't drown. He just froze.
I'm pretty sure that he drowned.
No.
He went into shock from being cold, but then he probably drowned.
No.
Cause of death would be drowning.
No, bullshit.
Cause of death would be drowning.
100% no. No, he froze to death in the water. When she fucking wakes up and she's like, Jack, Jack, and he's like a fucking popsicle stuck to the side of that fucking piece of wood. And then she's like, okay, you gotta go. And then just kind of, nudges him off and goes to the rescue boat. But no, he was fucking dead. He was dead long before she chucked him into the water. What are you Googling this right now?
Yeah.
All right, chat, what is your opinion then? Do you think Leo was dead before she pushed him into the water, or do you think he died after? Oh, good. Kristen doesn't remember me seeing Titanic without her, so all is forgiven. Yes. Fucking time heals all wounds, apparently.
Well, this is interesting.
What's that?
So apparently James Cameron conducted a forensic analysis to prove Jack's Titanic death. He needed to die.
I'm telling you, he fucking froze to death.
Hypothermia.
Boom.
According to the guy who fucking made the movie. Not according to Jason.
Right.
According to the guy who made the movie.
But to most normal people, that's pretty obvious what happened.
Why don't I like James Cameron?
I don't know. I mean, he did Terminator and Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Those are fucking great. He did Aliens.
Yeah, he's done good stuff. I mean, he seems like he's a very, like, he researches this shit really well. Like,
Yeah.
but for some reason, I don't like him, and I don't know why.
Huh.
Like, I have this, like, underlying, you know how sometimes you see a name, and it's just like, oh, I don't like that guy. So it's an
Yeah.
automatic, like, it's it's burnt. The needle's over here.
Yeah, and it never moves.
And I'm like, why? Now I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, okay, why?
Yeah.
Why don't I like this guy? I don't understand why it's the needle's over there.
Yeah.
There must have been something.
Now, to be fair, I still have not seen either of the Avatar movies.
I saw
And-
Avatar. I mean, I didn't have a problem with the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm just like, I'm not chomping at the bit to go see it.
I mean, I didn't see it multiple times. I
Yeah.
saw it. It was impressive.
Sure.
It was an interesting concept.
Yeah, I suppose.
It,
Well, what's weird is that's going to be like the rest of James Cameron's life is fucking making Avatar shit, apparently.
apparently.
Because he's got like 4 more movies planned with Disney or something. He'll be fucking dead before they're.
It's so
so
one of those
unnecessary.
where it's played out.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Yeah. And I'm sure he'd kind of like to.
Do something.
Yeah.
What else would we have for?
Well, that was it for soundtracks. So let's see. I've also got some spillover, some stuff that came out this year, but really is more popular later. We already talked about the Celine Dion song, "My Heart Will Go On,"
Right.
because though it technically came out in December of '97, it's pretty much like the number one song. It's got to be the number one song of '98. There's no fucking way it's not.
Right.
When we go and look at the singles. But Shania Twain also released an album towards the end of '97, her Come On Over album, which didn't really...
Come on over, baby.
No, that's Christina Aguilera.
Oh.
Which we're getting close to the Christina and Britney time, but not yet. Not yet. We're almost there. But yeah, Shania Twain's Come On Over came out this year. The first single was called Don't Be Stupid, did not, resonate very well. It wasn't until later singles in 98 and 99 that this album started doing well for her. So we'll talk about those when we get into the music of 98 and 99. But just remember, Shania Twain's Come On Over. Shit! Sorry. Gotta take my happy pill time.
I swear it was the. I told you to fucking change that shit. Well, no, I have to send you that file. That's what it was.
So anyway, that's stuff that's spills over into the next year. And for stuff that spilled over from 96 into this year, the biggest thing was No Doubt. No Doubt was still huge in 97. They kept releasing singles from Tragic Kingdom. And yeah, they were really, really big this year. So besides that, I think we can probably start getting into some of our lists, unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
I think we can.
All right.
I got lots. I mean, there's still lots of other.
Yeah, I've got a lot of honorable mentions myself. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to just start by doing our top 5 lists?
Yeah, I have the... whoa. Whoops.
You have the listener top 5?
I do.
Yeah, because you told Kelly to send them to you.
I did.
She could have sent them to me, but no. Dave
Well,
did them.
You asked, and then no response, so I just said... Okay. All right. I thought I might have overtyped it, but I did not. So that's just third place. Okay, yeah, so I have the top 5 for the listeners.
Okay, cool.
So we could do... We'll do listeners first, and then we'll do ours, or what do you want to do?
Well, why don't we mix them in with ours? So we'll go like me, listener, you, listener, me.
All right, you just tell me when to go.
All right. So how about I start then?
All right.
And my number 5, we didn't really talk about her much, but Sarah McLachlan's, I guess, breakout album came out this year. It wasn't her first, but her kind of big breakout came, and the song that I really liked from that was Building a Mystery, the title track from Surfacing, I think it was.
Oh, I do remember that song.
Yeah. Building a Mystery, Sarah McLachlan. I've loved this song since it came out. Like, this has been in constant rotation in the Jason playlists forever. Like, I've got it on my YouTube playlist. I've got it in my my phone playlists. It's just I think it's a great song. It's she's got a great voice. And yeah, that was my my number 5 for this year.
Real quick, before we go any further, Luna Girl, did we do a, hey, guess Jason and Dave's top, what their number 1's going to be? Did we do something like that?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm not
If you guys want to throw suggestions out in the chat, we can confirm whether or not they're correct.
Yeah. You already know who it's not one of the ones we talked about, obviously.
Yep. So let's do the listener number 5.
Listener, so there's a 3-way tie for 5th place.
All right.
So Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Papa Daddies.
Oh, I forgot that came out that year.
Yeah.
Again, strange fucking, mix of different kinds of music this year.
I actually really enjoyed that shit when it came out.
Yeah, because
I like the horns.
Well, and more than like ska, because ska was kind of like a punky with the horns. This is more like swing music.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like some Glenn Miller fucking just swing music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I that's all my others deserving mention. I'll Be Missing You.
Oh, the Puff
Diddy. Yeah, and then I get knocked down and I get up again.
Yep.
You're never gonna get me down. That was the 3-way tie for 5th place.
Understandable. Yeah. Tub thumping.
Tub thumping. A trouble wubba wumba.
And really, like, I was like seriously the perfect target for that fucking song, because I was a 20-year-old, almost 21, was already drinking like a fucking sailor at that point.
Right.
But yeah, it was like
drinking like an airman.
Yeah, true. All right, your number 5.
My number 5 is a song called, is a cover. Who did the cover? Oh, duh. It's a cover. Come On, Eileen.
Oh, no, it's a clever name of the band.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, Save Ferris.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love that version of that fucking song.
Yeah.
It is great. I love it.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, when I was looking at music for 97 and I saw that fucking song was in 97, I'm like, yes, that's fucking great. I love that version of the song. It's
and it's fucking great.
It's a classic song.
Yeah. And the band name, Save Ferris.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's perfect.
It's just perfect. I don't know anything else that they ever did.
No, I don't know if they ever had any other singles, honestly, but
that was perfection in that one moment.
Yeah. No, that's great. I never thought about that one, but yeah, that did come out in 97. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 4.
So my number 4 is a bitch by Seven Dust.
Oh, not Meredith Brooks.
Not Meredith Brooks. So Seven Dust had their debut album this year. And so this is where like current Dave is affecting past Dave.
Yes.
So, but be that as it may, the original Seven Dust album came out this year, and that album just slams, right?
Yeah,
Like,
a couple of their songs come up in like the 97 playlist that I pop up on Apple, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good song.
Bitch, Black, I'm blanking on like Black is number 1, Bitch is the number 2.
I'm a bitch, I'm a love. Oh wait, no, different bitch. Sorry.
But yeah, the Seven Dust sound is fucking great. And yeah, it's just fucking. It's just a kick-ass fucking song.
Yeah, I'm pulling up that 97 playlist that I was listening to, see if it pops up.
Yeah, what's the rest of the songs on that fucking album? It's like, so Seven Dust, that's their sound really has, like, it was such a mature sound, like from the jump. Like that album was such a good album, like right away, and then like everything that they did after that was just as good.
Right.
It just built and got better and better. And I have to say too that I'm one of those that's easily influenced by when I see them live. It automatically makes everything else better. And having seen,
I can't find it right now.
Having seen Seven Dust live, it does the same thing for me. So
nice.
Yeah,
All right.
that was my number 4.
That is a good one. What about the listeners' number 4?
So again, 3-way tie. So first one is one that I completely forgot that was in 97, but Smack My Bitch Up.
Again, a not real song, like calling this track a song is a bit of a stretch. Smack my bitch up. Smack my bitch up.
Yeah.
But the term smack my bitch up was like something that we would use a lot. Like people would use that in other popular culture. Like I think they a couple of times in South Park, like I'm gonna go smack my bitch up.
Yeah,
you know? Or Mr. Hat's gonna smack you bitches up.
That Prodigy album is actually like probably is in a lot of different mixes.
Yeah,
and a lot of different tracks for stuff that comes far after it.
Yeah, and that's something else too. Like this whole techno kind of wave that came through. That was another thing that was coming up in about this time, the 97 time frame.
And I've always been into that kind of electronica, like you know what I call the boots and pants music. I've always had that like little that track has always been kind of there in the back. Yeah, for when I need it. Like I did this morning because I was so fucking tired driving.
Yeah, but it went beyond just like dance music because there was like metal techno.
Oh, I know.
Also,
I know.
It was a very different style.
But it had the electronic, like all right, 3-way tie.
Oh wait, so that was
Smack My Bitch Up. Black by Seven Dust.
Okay,
that was the first song off of that album.
Very nice.
It was tough for me to pick between Black and Bitch. I liked Bitch better. And oh, by the way, for my top 5, if there may have been an album where I liked multiple songs, but I only made sure I picked one off of that album.
I did the same with the Spice Girls. Spoiler alert. I only picked one of their songs.
So anyway, and then the third one for this tie is "I Want You" by Savage Garden.
Okay.
So that was the listeners' 4.
All right, very good. My number 4. This one's going to kind of come out of left field, but this is another song that has been in constant rotation in all of my playlists since 1997 in one form or another. This is by composer Nobuo Uematsu.
Okay.
Who did the soundtrack for the video game Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
And the track is called The Golden Saucer. So Final Fantasy VII came out for the PlayStation 1 in 1997, and it was the biggest fucking video game at the time. It was huge. Everybody was playing it. Everybody was talking about it. And it had this, like, you know, really good soundtrack. And there was one track called the Golden Saucer, because the Golden Saucer was like this kind of like gaming casino place you go into. And it's kind of like this sort of a carnival theme going on. But I love it. I love the fucking... the synthesizer that's playing in this, and I have always loved this track ever since I played it in this video game, and I immediately acquired the song, and like I said, it's been in constant rotation in Jason playlists ever since.
Dude, I'll tell you that very underrated video games soundtracks.
Yeah.
Like the Medal of Honor soundtrack that probably comes out a couple years from now. We're talking about in 97. Was just fucking impressive, the amount of work and detail that went into the soundtrack. Like you're talking full orchestration, like legitimate no shit soundtrack.
Yeah, because the production value on video games started to really increase when we got, like, especially to the PlayStation, that, you know, you could fit all that data on a CD.
Exactly.
You know, and they were able to put full orchestrated soundtracks on there, and yeah, they really pumped it up, and video game soundtracks got a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. So yeah, I can dig that.
Yep. Now, speaking of video games, going to my number 3, 2 years from now in 1999, this little game called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater comes out. And one of the tracks on there, again, became an immediate favorite song of mine and would be on my playlist. Like, it's on my phone right now. But I did not realize that it was a song from 1997 until I was doing my research. And I'm like, oh, shit, this song actually came out in 97. And that song is Superman by Goldfinger. If you've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, it's normally the second song that always comes up. And it's, so here I am, doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman. I'm trying to keep the ground on my feet. Seems the world's falling down around me. It's kind of like a punk, sort of like, or actually they're more of a ska band, actually, because there's horns in it later on. But yeah, Goldfinger's Superman. It just, listen, if you listen to the song, if you've ever played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, you'll recognize it
Dude,
immediately.
you know how long it's been since I fucking played that game?
Since 1999.
Yeah, easily.
But anyway.
Why does it sound so weird when you say it? I feel like you're saying it wrong.
What am I saying wrong?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is the name of the video game.
It just sounds like you're saying it wrong.
How am I saying it wrong?
I don't know. It just sounds wrong. Say it better.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like, what do you want me to say?
It just sounds wrong.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Again?
Goldfinger's Superman. The name of the song is Superman. Fuck it. We'll break some rules again here. I'll just have you listen to the very beginning of the track. Like, you should recognize it.
I probably will.
Goldfinger Superman. All right.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. I guess the way you were singing it didn't give it the appropriate.
Well, clearly I'm not a professional here. I'm doing my best.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to like the track names during that. I was too busy trying not to fall.
Right. No, but I mean, I played the shit out of that game in 99, like a lot. And every time, like, I was always excited for when this song came back up in the rotation. I'm like, yes, I fucking love this song.
Awesome.
So that's that. All right. So that was my number 3. Listener number 3.
Listener 3 is Firestarter by The Prodigy.
Okay.
Off of that same album.
Yep.
So that was
we've got a lot of anti-establishment listeners.
Yeah. And that album, like I said, I forgot that album was there. I don't know that it would have cracked my top 5 anyway, but that was definitely an album that I was listening to.
Yep. All right. Very good.
So my number 3 is Good Riddance by Green Day.
The Green Day one. Yeah. That was, you know what? I really enjoyed that song when it first came out, but that was another one that was kind of like started to get overplayed a little bit. And they started using it like for like TV shows and things like that.
Probably.
And it's like, okay, like
if I had been watching TV, maybe I'd been I would have gotten that absorbed.
Well, I remember when Seinfeld went off the air, which I think was in '99. They like did this like retrospective look, and it was over that song.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this is where my not watching television a lot
Yeah.
helps me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I don't get that same level of inundation with the music. I
Yeah,
mean, listening to the radio, you do hear the repetition, but
But yeah, it's a good song. It was a great song, like very popular.
Yeah.
That year.
Okay, so my number 2. Another song I was like, oh fuck, that was 97. Is called Flagpole Sitta.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that song.
Yeah, it's by a band called Harvey Danger.
Yeah.
So the story,
Holy shit. I totally forgot about
the
that.
story behind this song is my good friend Jeff, who was my best friend all through high school, and we were, I forget which, I think we were either down the shore or we were at the Pennant, which was a like this hole in the wall place down the street, and there was a cover band in there, and a lot of these pop songs, like it's not in my list, but like Blur, like Song 2 by Blur.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, cover bands would be playing those songs, Smash Mouth, fucking Limp Bizkit, like they would be played constantly. Why is my Steam login all of a sudden popping up?
I don't know, but to sidebar on that, there was a period of time in '97 where me and every guy I was working with just would randomly throughout the day go, woohoo! Like the start of that fucking song.
Yeah. So we were at I'm pretty sure we were at the Ocean Drive. We were at the Ocean Drive in Seattle City. And they were playing this song. The band that was in there was playing the song. And there's a line in there that says, "Been around the world and found that only stupid people are breeding," right? And
God, that was such a good song.
yeah, and
Fuck.
my buddy Jeff looks at me, and he sings when we're singing those lyrics out loud like you do, and he looks directly at me when we're singing these lyrics, because I had Jeff, and Jeff was only a few months old at the time, and it's like it was directed energy straight at me. And I will never, ever forget that, because I'm just like, oh God, like, yes, that was, I just felt it hit me in that moment, drunk or whatever. It just hit me in that moment that he was like very specifically directing those lyrics at me. And it stuck with me. Fucking, how many years later? Fucking 26 years later.
Yeah.
Like, it's still like I hear every time I hear that song, and it honestly every
Wasn't that on the soundtrack to a movie too? Wasn't that in like American Pie or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah.
But in the Sacred Jedi fucking CDs, there's a bunch of fucking just mix CDs. That
Sure.
are, a variety of different shit. And that song's on almost every one of them.
Yeah.
Just because of that, and it was just kind of a running thing
Huh.
after that. So every time I hear that song, it's I think of that. I think of that moment, and it was just this directed energy right at me, and that wasn't like vindictive or anything.
Right.
It was just so fucking funny, just like, oh my God, yeah, stupid people are breeding. Yeah. I'm not sick.
As he's looking right at you.
Right. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. Yeah, dude, it's a great song. It's just a fucking fun song.
I totally forgot about that song.
I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
Yeah. I really do feel like that was in a movie soundtrack also.
I think somebody said it's in the American Pie.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. All right, cool. So that was your number 2?
That was my number 2.
All right, listener number 2.
We got another tie.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve.
Yep.
Which was on my Others Deserving Mention, and Gone Away by The Offspring.
Okay. Yeah. At this point, I think I'd started to tire of The Offspring as well.
Yeah, this album was not as good.
Yeah, as the previous one.
Yeah, I think. Did I have Offspring? No, I didn't have this on. I didn't have this on my Others Deserving Mention, but
They kind of fell victim to all of their songs sort of sounding the same, except when they came out with the one song, the fucking all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. That's quite a departure from their normal style, but all their other songs all kind of sound the same after a while.
Yeah, like Bittersweet Symphony, The Verve. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yep.
So that was their number 2.
That was their number 2.
All right, my number 2. So, based on our conversations, there was no way a Spice Girls song was not going to get on my list.
Oh, of course.
So it became a matter of, well, which one? Which one was my favorite?
Hang on, before you get there, can we talk about that for a second?
Hold on, let me pop over. I was all about Bittersweet Symphony because of the movie Cruel Intentions. Yes. Well, why don't we put a pin in that, and we'll come right back to that.
Fair enough.
Give me 20 seconds, and we'll come right back to that.
Fair enough.
So, back to my number 2. It had to be a Spice Girls song. We know it's not going to be Wannabe because I was never a fan of that song. I could play it safe and be like, yeah, say you'll be there. But look, I'm just going to be real here. My favorite song from the Spice Girls was To Become One. I'm sorry. I loved it. It was a good song. The music video was awesome. Yeah, so that's my number 1 Spice Girls song. And that's also my number 2. And you know what? I'm not ashamed of it. Fuck it. I love my daughter.
So it's your number 1 and number 2?
No, that was my number 2. To Become One is the name of the song.
Oh, okay. Anybody else confused? Like, what the fuck just happened?
All right. Now, number 1s.
All right.
My number 1, Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve.
Yes.
Not to be confused with the Verve Pipe.
Verve Pipe,
who
the
was
freshman.
also, who did The Freshman, which actually wasn't a bad song either.
Yeah, it's on my other deserving mention.
But yeah, no, from the moment I heard this fucking song, because I was already big into classical music. Like, we've discussed this a lot. Like, I was into classical music back in high school. For some reason, I was that fucking nerd that, like, loved Beethoven and fucking Mozart and all that. And then as soon as I heard Bittersweet Symphony, I'm like, oh my God, I have to own this album. And I bought the CD, like, the day I heard the fucking song for the first time. The rest of the album is garbage, but it didn't matter because, like, this was by far my favorite song of that year. And listening to it now, it makes even more sense now. It's like, fuck. Yeah.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it is a good song.
It's a really good song.
And to Chantal's point, it was also in the movie Cruel Intentions, which I think came out in 98, 99? Came out a couple years after the song came out, but it was played over the ending scene of that, and it's like this iconic ending scene for that movie if you've seen it, which surprisingly really good movie. And fucking what's her name at her like fucking peak hotness, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song is played over that ending scene, and it's just done fucking brilliantly. And that's that. The Bittersweet Symphony was by far, it was an easy number 1 for me for this year.
Awesome.
Yeah. How about the listener's number 1?
Listener number 1 was Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind.
Fucking hate Third Eye Blind. Oh, I'm motivation. Ugh. I hate Third Eye Blind. All right.
I'm stowing that for later.
All right.
We're running out of time.
Dave's number 1.
My number 1 was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
Monkey Wrench.
Oh, Foo Fighters. Yeah, we didn't mention that the Foo Fighters
Color
released an
and
album.
the Shape came out.
Yeah.
This fucking year, and it was like between Monkey Wrench and fucking Everlong are two just amazing, amazing songs. I mean, they're super popular songs off of this album, but I really, really enjoyed both of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
But Monkey Wrench is one of those where it goes hard right away,
and
it's just a fucking rock song, and it immediately puts you into it, and like this is what the Foo Fighters are, right? And this is it, and I liked it from the very fucking beginning when I heard it.
Yeah,
like it just was like, oh fuck, this is awesome. Out of all the other stuff, out of all the other music that we talked about, and kind of. Besides like Led Zeppelin, which had their re-release, but everything else, there's no rock music. I mean, talked about Ozfest a little bit, but that's I think Ozzy put out. I think they put out an album or something. But that when we're talking about what was come out, what I had listened to, this is the closest thing to like this is my rock and roll. This is my generation's rock and roll.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, because this was around the time that I started to notice that traditional rock was like dead at this point. It was
either you're listening to like your parents' rock and roll stations, or this.
Yeah,
that was it. Like, as much as I like Seven Dust now, like you couldn't hear Seven Dust on the radio in the Philly area.
Yeah,
like it just wasn't something that was going to come on. Now later it started to come on,
sure, like
on different stations, but initially it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just something that, like, the Foo Fighters were just this is the sound. Yeah, it was just, this is a great album. It's just kind of a warm hug for like, okay, here's rock and roll still.
Yeah.
Like it's still kind of alive.
Right.
Like, and good singing and songwriting and musicians and just the heart and soul of rock and roll kind of still going.
Which, it's interesting too, because like as we get into the rest of the 90s, that's going to start diminishing even more because, like we said, with these groups that debuted, your Backstreet Boys, your NSYNC. Later on, we've got Christina and fucking Britney coming, and it's like this.
You have the boy bands.
Yeah, the boy bands, the overproduced girl stuff, and it's all becomes like pop centric or hip hop. Like, we didn't really mention it, but like so many like hip hop acts fucking debuted in 97, and a lot of them were big and sold like crazy. And hip hop, this was kind of the start of them just like having a constant presence in the top music charts.
So let's talk about some others as I mentioned before we run out of time.
Yeah, I've got a few myself.
So I found one when I came across it. I was looking at a list of stuff that came out in 97.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know who Chantal Kreviazuk is?
Does not sound familiar.
All right, so she was. I didn't know. I recognized the name. So Chantal, obviously, she's Pop My Culture. She's in the chat. Hello, Chantal, and she is also like, isn't she a Patreon supporter too? Pop My Culture,
of course. So
thank you for that. But Chantal Kreviazuk. Apologies for brutalizing a name.
Mm-hmm.
She did a song called "Leaving," or she did a cover of "Leaving on a Jet Plane." That was, I think it was in a movie, but it was released this year on one of her albums on like a Japan release.
Okay.
I love this is a great song. Because of what we used to do for a living. Like it was just as you going through the lyrics and everything. And I would challenge you to listen to how when you're listening to the lyrics of the song and how she sings it and the way the pacing is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the best version of this song.
Okay.
And
I don't know if I've ever heard it, honestly.
Yeah, I would 100%. I'm sure Lunar Girl's going to get it and get it in a Spotify playlist. But it is my absolute favorite version of the song. It would have, honestly. There's so many other songs here, but it is one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite songs because of our career. There were so many times that we're leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was the story of our lives for
a long time,
almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
When you left, you had a general idea of when you were supposed to come back, but that almost never happened.
Yeah.
So there was that. Creed, My Own Prison. Creed put out a
okay.
My Own Prison by Creed. Faith by Limp Bizkit.
Yep. Yeah, because like we mentioned, this was their debut album.
Yep.
Which I started liking them more later in the 90s with their follow-up to that.
Every Day is a Winding Road.
Oh, Sheryl Crow. Yeah, that was decent.
I listened to that song today,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, I still like this song. This is like Sheryl Crow's like voice was still really like fresh.
Yeah.
when you listen to like it on this album, and it just was like it's just good.
Okay.
Kind of like listening to Jewel, but with like more energy.
Sure.
I got to get to that one. So did we talk about Fly by Sugar Ray?
We did not.
Sugar Ray was one of those in that compilation of fucking bands that showed up and fucking might as well have been like a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
That a cover band would be.
Yeah. Now, the thing about specifically that song, there's two versions of that song. There's one version where the guy is rapping in the background, and then there's one where they take that out. I prefer the one where they take out the rapping guy. Where what you want?
Oh yeah.
Hi. Like
I got you.
yeah.
All around the world, statues crumble for me.
Yeah.
So there's a song by DJ Cool. It's called "Let Me Clear My Throat," and it's a live version that they did in Philly that they put on this album, right? And for whatever reason, like I used to hear it all the time, like you'd hear it in bars and clubs in Philly, and because it was recorded in Philly, like, and he's playing the Philly audience, like he's really playing it up, and it's like, thank you, Lunar Girl, it's just really, it's just a dun, 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 dun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And it goes into this drop. Dun, 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 dun. And he's like, I'd have to play it for you, but you know it if you heard it because
Sure.
you've heard it played before. It's a live version. Oh, did I talk about that? All right. Last one. Have you seen the movie Evita?
No, but I'm familiar enough with it.
Yeah. So Madonna's version of "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. She did well.
Yeah, it is
Not my style, but I can accept,
Yeah,
that it was good.
yeah. That version, because that version of the movie was. There's a lot of music in them. It's a long movie.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's an amazing story.
Yep.
I remember going to Buenos Aires, and I brought back like a book, like an Evita, like this is the story, the life story, and I brought it back for Kathy because she was super into Evita, but I just, this is one of those performances, like I don't like Madonna, but this particular version of this song is like, just, it's done perfectly. Oh, and the last thing is, so Everclear released 2 albums this year, right?
Yep.
And so Father of Mine came out, like it's the second album that came out was more popular. And the only reason I put it down, they're good songs. They were like top 40 songs, right? But I was at an Eagles game, like it's pertinent for today, right? So the Eagles are playing. They have the Monday night game, and we were at an Eagles. I want to say it was a preseason game, and they were doing like these preseason festivities where they had live music outside the stadium before you would go in, and we were standing out there, and Everclear was doing a performance outside the stadium.
Nice.
And we're standing there, and like we knew the music. Like there was a bunch of us that knew the music, but then a lot of people didn't. And the what's his name? The fucking lead singer starts heckling the crowd for not knowing the words to some of the songs.
Sure.
And so, what's the one thing you probably wouldn't want to do to a drunk Philly crowd?
Antagonize them?
Yes. Yes. He did not understand what he was doing.
Right.
Like, that was the last, he did not perform after that. Like, there was no hey, we'll correct. Oh, no, this is just a mild understanding. Oh, no. Like, he started to fucking give the crowd shit for not knowing the words. the crowd responded and then continued to respond until he stopped existing, basically, and fucking and went away, because it was it was not a good look. Like, it was a night game, doors open, parking lots open for tailgating at 4:00 in the afternoon, and people were. It was in fact, as I remember the night specifically, because it was I think it was. Oh no, that was a different night. Was that the TO night? I don't remember. Anyway, regardless of that, it was just fucking. He just opened up a can of. he was on the fuck around and find out chart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it just was not good.
Nice.
He performed later. Like, he went back out during halftime, and he was, because it was inside the fence line of the stadium. It was like. Yeah. So the Eagles were like, "Hey, we're paying you to fucking play, so you're going to go out there."
Yeah.
But yeah, so Everclear that's my last other Zerm.
All right,
because of that story.
I've got a few myself. We've already talked about Foolish Games from Jewel. That actually got bumped when I found out that Goldfinger Superman came out this year. The Bee Gees came out with a new album. They had a single called Alone, which I actually really liked.
Yeah.
I bought the single for it. I didn't buy the album, just the single. But I liked the Bee Gees Alone that came out that year. We mentioned the Fleetwood Mac Reunion album. I love their version of Don't Stop from The Dance. They had like a whole marching band playing in the background and everything. It was really, really good version of the song. The Memory Remains from Metallica, which we mentioned. This was also the year of Fiona Apple's Criminal, if you remember that song. Which, honestly, I did not like that song when it first came out. It's something that kind of grew on me over the years, to the point where I actually really enjoy it now. But yeah, that came out this year. The Mighty Mighty Bosstones, the last grasp of ska, trying to make it mainstream, had The Impression That I Get.
Yes,
this year.
That was actually on my others list.
Yeah, I always like that song. It's a silly song, but it's good, entertaining. Matchbox 20's Push came out this year. I wanna push you around.
Oh, that's right.
I will. Yeah, that was a good song too, and I really enjoyed that. When it came up on the fucking playlist that I was listening to, I'm like, fuck, I haven't heard this song in 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's good.
I've definitely heard it more recently than that, but that's a good song.
Yep. And then one other one I'll mention that Kristen had on her list, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone by Paula Cole.
Cole, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one of those ones you listen to it.
Where have all the cowboys gone?
Well, it's another one of those songs you actually appreciate the older you get. And you kind of understand more of what the hell she's actually singing about. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that's kind of fucked. So, but yeah, those were some of the other honorable mentions that I had. So,
Where have all the cowboys gone?
all right. So, anything else on the music of '97 before we wrap this up?
I do not have anything else for
all right.
music of '97.
It's going to be.
That was pretty. There's a lot. There was a lot there.
Yes.
Surprisingly, there was a lot there.
Yeah, and we were really only able to skim the surface of everything that came out, because there's so much. And like I said, it's a wide variety, massive amounts of different kind of music all coming out at the same time. And
yeah, I look, I don't know if you could tell, but this is probably the most no shit research I've done on a music topic since the Beach Boys.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you did do your research quite a bit. I'm very impressed, Dave.
Yeah, so I came prepared today.
Yeah,
and because I was surprised at how much there was, I was really surprised.
Yep,
and it was a big year. It was '97 was going through tech school and coming out of that and starting the rest of. Yeah, that was the beginning of my military career, and it kind of started the rest of what we are today.
Yep.
Right. So,
absolutely, and I'm looking forward to finishing up the '90s with '98, '99. Lots to talk about in those years, but no idea when we're going to get to that. But it'll
eventually.
Yeah, it'll be eventually.
We'll surprise you.
Yeah,
like we do.
And next week, we are talking about the next 2 episodes of Ahsoka, episodes 6 and 7.
Yes, be ready.
Oh, man.
Be ready, people. There's a lot of shit going on.
Speaking of so much to talk about.
There's a lot of shit going down.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. So Ahsoka next week. Do we have sidebar headlines, or what are we going to do? Or
you know what? I'm going to read through them really quickly.
Yeah, well, because JLo's on a boycott because nobody's given us a review lately.
let's go with that.
Yeah. So she's not coming until somebody gives us a review somewhere.
Yes, that's because that bitch is not coming. ATSW family happenings. Snooch, Big Lovin', Dragon Buddy will be doing Blue Ballin' with Thrawn on Wednesday. It's going to be better than Ezra. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So don't miss the ATSW Escape Pod at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern on YouTube. Layman's Terms released Dollar Store G.I. Joe, which I thought was very funny. And be ready for the jump scare. And he will be going live on Friday at 2100, 9 p.m. Eastern. Check out our bro Keith killing and chilling out with and talking ghosts with our special guests God damn it. Even when I'm just doing normal. Like I can't do normal. Even with special guests Shanti from Pop My Culture and Darius from Podcast of Pain at Layman's Terms for your primary source of ignorance and drunken banter on YouTube. And I will say that if you haven't watched his latest Layman's Terms, he is looking for guests to do scary movie stuff.
Ooh. Yeah. I like scary movies.
Yes. So
I mean, nothing beats the first two Halloween movies, the original Halloween movies.
You are the person for that type of conversation. I am not. Also, on Friday, Big Swede and his early 2000s band, Slaves for Scores. God, it sounds so weird. Early 2000s. Like, wasn't that yesterday?
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Oh, my. No, it's not. Are releasing their remastered song, Brand New Disease. So this Friday, Slaves for Scores is releasing their remastered song, Brand New Disease. Check it out at Slaves for Scores on all streaming platforms on Friday. Very cool.
Yeah.
This Saturday at 2100, 9 p.m. Eastern, Snooch and LG will review Stranger Things Has Happened Stranger Things Season 3, Chapter 7, The Bite. There's got to be a better way to read that. Join them on their first watch journey at Stranger Things Has Happened on YouTube. What's your name here?
Jason.
Grave Reviews. That's what your name is there. I know it isn't the chat. Squirrel. On Sunday, Kim and Nicole will be discussing their favorite Scream Queens on Used and Abused. Find them at 2100, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. There's a whole rabbit hole to go down there, and I don't have time.
Yeah. We got to get to the game.
Last night, Luna Girl was repping the sidebar on Dork Wars Live, chatting about rat dogs, witch farts, and turtle rocks. Like you do. Check out the replay of Ahsoka Episode 6 with host Blake at Dork Wars on YouTube. And I know other places are doing Ahsoka. Come with all that information. Bring it to the chat when we talk about Episodes 6 and 7.
Hell yeah.
When we power through it. And you will do it. I just mentally distracted myself. Fuck. Our bro from the land down under, where women glow and men plunder. Wally Frogmore released a new creation at Frogmore Art on Instagram. Grand Animal Thrawn. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover, and follow Frogmore Art. The Orange and Fed Show did not release anything last week because the fucking Orange Jacket guy's too busy beating us in fantasy. Cruise their back catalog on Spotify and Apple. You can find us at bio.link/ the Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon and YouTube. Our audio audio podcast on
What the fuck was that?
on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, and all social media platforms, including X, ours formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Once you get to the bio links, simply click the symbols under our pick to go to your platform of choice. You can also find all of our posts, all of our past Spotify music mixtapes, playlists. Fuck, Dave, read the fucking words. The mixtape that Luna Girl has been working so hard on, gathering and all the information for all of you that have dropped your music in there. Thank you. And thank Luna Girl for putting it all together. I'm sure that will be available very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So you can listen to all of the music in 97. And
94.
yeah, and you will do it. Also in our bio link is our TeePublic merch shop. We have our Jason Rose design, our super sexy Twi'lek. Sidebar Chick, our beloved Hennifer design. F Cancer, written in Auerbesh. And a couple of From a Gen X point of view throwbacks. There are t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers and pins, wall art, magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows, and just about anything you can imagine. Pillows! Pillows! Just make sure to tag us on the socials with your Sidebar merch. There's no reviews, obviously, because Hennifer's not here. So, sad face. Please write us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Don't have an Apple or Audible account. Our Facebook page has a review feature too. Just screenshot us your review before you hit done and DM us the pic on Instagram or Twitter. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on the show. Jason or Hennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama or Drunk Tom Brokaw or somebody fun will read your show wherever word review on our next episode and let you know who you want to read it.
Yeah, it should have been him the whole time.
If you're listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. If you're new to Sidebar, please subscribe and ding that bell. Select all to receive notifications when we go live. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps us out. I'm Tom Brokaw. And
that was good.
yeah, go to salvagedeepspace.com where you can find information about the game that I ran out of time to talk about.
Okay. All right. And that's that. So yeah, again, Ahsoka next week.
Play the same song.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching on YouTube. Thank you to all of our audio listeners. But we gotta go because Monday Night Football's on NBC.
Yes. Is Dave okay? No, obviously not.
He's never okay, but that's what makes him Dave.
I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, again, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Until then, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Oh, okay, now what do I click?
Alrighty, guys, we got to kill the stream because Dave's got to go watch some football.
Right.
On NBC. All right. See you guys soon.
Bye.